Hi guys, Scott Speed here, welcoming you to the Volkswagen Beetle GRC car here in iRacing. It is so fun. Wanted to give you guys some pointers around the track here. This is the actual track that we drove in Daytona. It looks unbelievable. When you see the footage from the onboard of the actual track, it's crazy how similar they got it. Give you some tips on the car. First thing you're gonna notice is this thing is a 2-liter turbo engine that has over 600 horsepower. And it is geared for acceleration. So you're gonna go through the gearbox very quickly. That's the first thing you know. As soon as you leave the pits, you're gonna be like, wow. You're just gonna have to upshift gears very rapidly. And then you're gonna get on the brakes for the first time and you're gonna notice this big momentum shift. The car is gonna lean over, it's gonna have a ton of weight transfer, and that's because we run really soft springs in this thing to get the traction that you're gonna need in the dirt. Once you get through the first corner, you're probably going to realize that as soon as you touch the throttle, it doesn't really want to turn anymore. You've got to be aware that four-wheel drive likes to stop very quickly and it likes to go very quickly. It doesn't like the corner so much. To the first corner, you definitely want to wait until you're kind of straight to get on the gas, and that'll bring you up to the really fun section. And you get to experience dirt in a four-wheel drive rally car for the first time, and it's incredible. The thing you're going to notice is that the car wants to just continue going in whatever direction it started in. So when you approach these corners, you're really going to have to turn quite before the corner, very early, and the car is going to develop this momentum to it. It's still very important to hit the apex and to be very tidy and clean, but you're going to have to do that with the momentum of the car. And then you got this nice jump that is really fun. One thing to keep in mind when you're in the air is if you hit the brakes, the front end will come down. If you hit the gas, the front end will come up a little bit. So you got to control, kind of like an airplane, the pitch of the car in the air so you're kind of flying straight. And as soon as you land here, you're going to want to start heading left. You're going to give it a big input and start it sliding to the left. And you're just going to be constantly trying to slow this thing down to make this corner, because it's very, very slippery and it's a very tight corner. And the preferred line, believe it or not, is still going to be right here at the apex. Once you get out of here, the next couple corners are relatively simple, typical tarmac corners. Not a lot to these stuff. This is all flat out. And yeah, let's see what a full lap looks like.
Good evening and welcome to week 2 here on RaceSpot TV and iRacingLive of Friday Night Dirt Night. We are so glad that you decided to join us. We are going to kick things off immediately with the first round of racing action here on Friday Night Dirt Night. Of course, the Global Rallycross cars here live in Newton, Iowa, the 7/8 mile oval, fastest short track in the world here at Iowa Motor Speedway. Everyone should be familiar with the oval that's run here. There is also an infield road course, and these Red Bull Global Rallycross cars will be taking advantage of both the oval and the infield here tonight. Randy Chenowth, Cam Walsh, Hugo Louis bringing you all the action here today. Qualifying still currently underway, just got started in fact. Most drivers on their first lap of qualifying at the moment. We're finishing up their hot laps. Current quick time is a 36.2 that was just set in by Mitchell DeJong. Cam, we saw Daytona, last week. Daytona, one of the 5 tracks, that we got here for the Global Rallycross. That one was fairly basic, pretty simple joker, nothing really too complex. Here at Iowa, things a lot more shaken up. The dirt section's a little bit more technical, the asphalt's a little bit more technical, and that joker cuts off a significant portion of the lap time.
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. Back up to snuff with the microphone. But no, absolutely. I have to say, probably out of all of the tracks that are available, this one is my favorite. I don't necessarily, I can't tell you why. It's just a fun time to ride. It's a quick lap time. The track is quick. The jump comes right out at you and can certainly pose problems at the start of the race. But yeah, I really enjoy this track, and it should prove a good race.
This is one of the lack of better terms fantasy layouts we have on the iRacing service. The two real tracks we got with the Daytona short layout as well as the Indianapolis Raceway Park layout. We decided, well, the iRacing decided to cook this one up as one just as filler, and this one is a lot of fun, as Cam just said. Taking a look at qualifying times right now, Mitchell DeJong, last week's winner, dominated the whole way through. He currently leads with a 36.202. He's got two teammates this time that follow him very, very closely, though Cam not dominating nearly as much as he did last week. Renz Broekman is a 36.401 and Jake Hewlett 36.441. So not the half-second gap we saw out of Mitchell last week.
No, the only two vehicles, one that is not qualified yet or botched both qualifying laps, which is Bobby Zelensky, and then you got Evan Mallard. Those are the only ones that aren't in the 36-second bracket. So it just goes to show you how quick everyone's driving out here.
Evan just actually got down into that 36-second bracket, 36.9. Just as you said that, he ticked over a 36.9, so that's unfortunate. And Bobby Zelensky, he's going out on his lap right now. Now, where Zelensky is right now, this is technically turn one, and he's setting up this as if he's going to be a good time, but this first lap, actually, when you come out of the starter's box, actually does not count. So this is essentially an out lap for Mr. Zelensky, but let's take an opportunity to look how the course goes. You have that long left-hander after the jump, which is all on dirt. Then you get to this tight asphalt section. You have a very quick chicane, followed by a 180-degree right-hander, and then a much, much tighter 180-degree left-hander that comes back out onto the oval. You want to drive up the racetrack a little bit using that banking in turns 3 and 4. You can also see drivers at times, they will keep it down on the flat, and that's going to be a section, Cam, where people will, that's going to be where there's a difference in style between people handbraking or not handbraking. Yeah, he's going to dodge out of that. So Mr. Bobby Zelensky, he is going to evacuate that lap time, and Cam, that handbrake turn, 180-degree left-hander, very, very technical. Expect to see a lot of handbraking there.
It's going to be good fun there, too, because you're going to pile in 2-3 cars, and somebody is going to burn out way too far to the right. They handbrake it. Then they're going to look to get the undercut on the banking. Expect somebody to just dive right into the barrels. So it's going to be a good time here, especially with how the handbrake actions are going to be, especially with how tight this track is.
So let's go down over your grid for heat number 1 here in round 2 of the Red Bull Global Rallycross Series. Mitchell DeJong on pole with a 36.202. Starting on the outside of him will be Jake Hewlett. Joshua K. Rogers is going to be rolling off 3rd, with Stylon Chmivelski in 4th, Marius Gollenbach 5th, Logan Clampett 6th, and Bobby Zelensky rounding out this field. We have an assortment of talent in heat number 1. World Championship Grand Prix Series drivers, NASCAR Pagani Free Series drivers, Blancpain GT drivers, all in this split and all in this heat. We'll get to heat number 2, of course, in a couple moments. But cars on the grid, we are now waiting for the lights. Well, for everyone to get on the grid first and for the lights to come on and kick off heat number 1. Just format, pretty much identical from what we saw last week out at Daytona. 5-lap heats. You must joker at least once. Top 4 transfer to the feature. The rest of the guys, they go to the consolation race. Top 2 transfer to the feature. That's a 6-lapper, and you must joker once as well. All cars are now on the grid. Rather beginning to build. And then we are going to be green flag racing here in just a moment. As green flag waves, these Volkswagen and Ford Fiestas all run down in towards this tight turn number 1, 180 degrees all the way through. Turn 1's not the tricky part of the start, though. It's getting up and over the jump clean. And so far, everyone's done it. Not a lot of contact. 2 Coanda teammates, though. Mitchell DeJong and Jake Hewlett, they're looking to break away. Let's see if they joker early. Mitchell DeJong does. Hewlett does not. The assortment of cars joker early. In fact, Mitchell, Josh Rogers, we also have Marius Gollenbach and Bobby Zelensky. They all joker here on lap 1, Cam.
Yeah, great start here. It's a heart attack going into that first right-hander and going over the jump, I can assure you. As Mitchell DeYoung, he does not look comfortable over this jump. Neither does Joshua Rogers in that Ford. Both of them get massively unsettled. You can damage your suspension if you come down too hard. Been there, done that myself. But otherwise, a clean start here at Iowa.
I was actually talking to Mitchell about that earlier today. He said he was having some issues getting up and over that jump clean. Tends to land the car either on one side or the other, bend the suspension through this tight 180-degree left-hander for him, and it looks like no one else in the background has chosen to take the Joker. So Jake Hewlett, he's currently leading. He was second place, remember, at the start of this event. So it's one thing you need to keep in mind, Cam. He currently runs fifth, but he's going to have an 11-second delta here when he eventually chooses to Joker, and keeping this clean track in front of him right now, I would expect him to not Joker until the final time through.
Yeah, it's pretty standard to take your Joker the final lap as Mitchell DeYoung is doing a great job right now, building up a gap over Joshua Rogers. Rogers building over Golombek, over Zelensky. Zelensky for not putting in a qualifying time. He seems to be picking up the pace. He's still hanging. But for Mitchell DeYoung, you can see how low he takes the banking, and actually Rogers has adjusted his line to follow through. There's a handbrake corner. Goes over the jump one more time, still unsettled, but you know what though, it looks a lot safer than he was doing it before.
That he does through this long left-hander on the dirt, being very, very careful about getting on the throttle in these 600 horsepower machines. Even though they got all-wheel drive, that is a very slippery section of the racetrack. Let's see, does Jake Hewlett Joker this time as he works himself through the same sector on the racetrack? And no, he is going to stay out there running normal laps, and I think we're going to see the same from Chip Pavelski and Clampett as well. So those three choosing, I would say at this point, to Joker on the final lap. As Mitchell DeYoung, he's going to come through and take the white flag off the final corner. He has a huge margin over the Aussie of Josh Rogers.
Yeah, cleanest he's gotten through this section. Yeah, as you can see, the track is starting to wear in. It does going to wear in here as Mitchell DeYoung. All he's got to do is focus on the track line. Joshua Rogers, that's where things are going to get interesting, because you're going to see these cars taking the Joker, and they're going to come out right about there.
So last time through, the cars that Joker will have an immense speed advantage on the top side of the oval. Here comes Jake Hewlett. Can he pick up any spots on the Joker, or will he be in the same spot? He's already jumped, I think, one car. He jumped Golombek, and he's going to just get side by side with Rogers. Rogers is going to hold on, though, but up the inside goes Hewlett. He's going to take that second spot, so it is going to be Coanda drivers 1 and 2 here in heat number 1. Rogers will round out third with Marius Golombek. He will be the last driver to transfer to the feature from this heat. Drivers that are going to be on the outside looking in will be Stylen Chipavelski, as well as Logan Clampett and Bobby Zelensky. And let's go down your starting grid for heat number 2. So another Coanda driver will be starting at the front in this one. That's going to be the number 3 of Renz Broekman. Then have Zach Leonardi in second, Casey Kerwin in third, Jorn Jens fourth, Johan Hart in fifth, and Evan Millard in sixth. 2 Coanda drivers in heat 1, 2 Coanda drivers in heat 2. Interesting to note, Jorn the only one in the Fiesta. Lights, they go on, getting ready for them to go out. Res begin to build. And we got a little bit of a jump from the 4 machine, but we are green. And what a start from row number 2, Cam. They both take the lead into the first turn. Casey Kerwin, he's going to lead, and Jorn Jens, he'll be running second door-to-door with a teammate of Broekman, who might just take the second spot through this long left-hander. Not as clean as the start, though. One car off into the grass. That was Johan Hart.
Yeah, and that got a big old door handle from Jorn Jens. Casey Kerwin there, he managed to bollard his way through that first corner. That was brilliant, using his smaller Volkswagen Beetle to push the Ford. The Ford goes slow, and actually Evan Millard, he's going to go around the outside going up the jump. Jorn Jens not having a good time.
Jorn Jens struggling a little bit after the good start, and he's going to push wide out in the grass. That's something that can happen here. Get that long left-hander wrong, and you can easily be out in the dirt. That is most certainly going to cost him a lot of time. Going to make things very, very difficult for him to try to transfer to the main event. Renz Broekman, however, he's yet to Joker, as well as Zach Lenardi. Those 2, the other 4 already did, and Renz Broekman is something to keep an eye on because he has been the closest to Mitchell session in and session out. Casey Kerwin, he still leads the way, though, as Evan Mallard is fighting with that Ford Fiesta behind him of Johan Hart. That's the fight for second and third as they now come through this long, I guess it's technically probably turn 2, but turn 1, depending on its relation to the timing marks. But Millard has his mirror full of Johan Hart and has to be thinking, when are those other 2 drivers eventually going to Joker, and where will they come out?
Yeah, and I gotta say, as Millard, he actually taps one of the tire barriers, gives himself a little bit of front end damage there. But for Johan Hart, he's got to remember he's getting a bigger vehicle. He's in that Ford Fiesta. You can look to the outside. He takes almost a bite out of the rear end of that Volkswagen Beetle as they're heading over that jump right now. It's been good fighting so far, but yeah, that Ford, he looks super on the attack. Will he door him this time by? Yes, he will. Just a little bit of a jump there, but both of them making it through cleanly. They'll actually door each other again.
Oh, Evan Millard, he's going to get thrown down into the tire barriers, though. Jordan Jens, he's going to pick up a spot, but he tags the tires as well. That's going to be significant damage on the front end of that Coanda Synsport Ford Fiesta. Johan Hart, he's going to pick up the spot as well. And Evan Millard, he's going to have to do this from the B main as we continue to watch the Renz broken years. Actually, I think Renz may have jokered a lap earlier than we expected. And as he comes across the timing beam, I believe, yes, he did. So he jokers on the penultimate lap, and he's going to take the race lead. Got about a 1 to 2 second margin over Casey Kerwin.
Impressive there from Renz Broekman, able to keep that delta up, and he actually threw quite a bit of a lead now over Casey Kerwin at the start of that. So here comes Zach Hardy as well. As he takes out one of those safety barriers. I've been noticing that a lot here in this top split race. I don't normally see that thing get attacked, but either way, Renz Broekman, he's coming away with it.
Down into the final section of corners, off the oval they come, and down into the infield. Renz Broekman, Coanda drivers win both heats here. Casey Kerwin, he's going to be doing it, get the bragging rights for the Peak Antifreeze Series drivers. He'll finish second, followed by Zach Lenardi and Casey Kerwin. Jorn Jens and Evan Millard, they'll be the two drivers who do not transition to the feature just yet. Still, one more race, though, to get yourself in. We're going to have the consolation race. Many of you might know that better as a B main here in just a moment. And those 5 drivers who have yet to transfer will get their last opportunity to do so right here, right now. Starting grid for that is as follows. Stylen Chepavelski, he will be on the pole position. Jorn Jens in second. Logan Clampett third. Evan Millard fourth. And Bobby Zielinski will round out this field. Who is it going to be? A lot of pro drivers in this B main as well. Logan Clampett, you know, he'd like to pick up that spot and transfer, get another Peak Antifreeze Series driver in there. Also, Bobby Zielinski, he'd love to have it as well. Jorn Jens, though, he wants to join the rest of his teammates in that feature race just for the bragging rights. Doesn't want to get too much of an earful on the Coanda Discord. But fairly small consolation race here, only 5 cars. We got 4 of them on the grid. And again, pretty much the same as what we just saw in the heats. 6 laps, you must joker once. Lights come on, getting ready for them to go out. Revs begin to build. And we are green, and it's a good jump from Jorn Jens on the outside. Logan Clampett drawing immediately with Chepavelski. They make contact before even getting to the first corner. And Bobby Zielinski, he gets a little caught up in that. He's going to go to the back of the field as Jorn Jens, a fantastic start in the sole Coanda Ford Fiesta. He will lead here, and he will joker here on lap 1, followed by Millard, and Stylen Chepavelski be the first driver who has yet to joker.
Yeah, it was a bit of a crazy start there as they pushed in. Clampett really wanted that inside line, and well, the inside line didn't want him, I guess, because that was some good contact. I will say they managed to clean it up before they got to the corner. Nobody wrecked out, but a massive gap for Jorn Jens and Evan Millard now. So is the rest of the field now pulling through.
A massive gap because one of that contact, because they took the joker. Now these guys in the second group, they don't all have clean tracks, so they might decide to joker a little bit early here. Chepavelski through turn number 2. Let's see if anyone decides to joker right now. Very wide line for all these 3 drivers into the chicane, but no, none of them are going to transfer, well, excuse me, no one's going to take that joker just yet. Jorn Jens, meanwhile, has managed to break away from Evan Millard, and that's going to be nice for him, getting a little bit of pressure off that rear view mirror.
Yeah, as he just throws it right now, you're noticing the track is getting a bit slower, a bit slower, a bit slower. There's normally quite a bit of grip. You can really play with that throttle going through as the track wears in now, especially with us actually running this consolation race. Wears the track even more. See how wide they take that left-hander before taking the right. Jorn Jens does in Evan Millard. And either way, it's good here running here. I've been noticing that not a lot of people have been really throwing that handbrake, and actually there goes Bobby Zielinski, so he's quite a bit back from Evan Millard, so that just goes to show you the delta difference.
Not a good joker there. Well, it might have been a good joker, but not a good start. He has a lot of ground that he needs to try to reel into those two out in front of him. Lap 4 of 6. Now getting logged right now is Jordan Jens trying to open up that gap to Evan Millard, and of course to the two drivers, Stylon Chipavelski and Logan Clampett. Let's see if either of them joker this time through. In towards corner number 2, long 180-degree left-hander, and actually Logan Clampett a little too sideways through there, gave up a little bit of time, but no, neither of them jokering just yet. Still 2 laps for them to do so. They're probably going to wait until the final lap to get that 11-second time cut when they can. As Jordan Jens, he's going to be coming across for lap 5 of 6, up and over the jump now.
Yeah, and it's just been clean running from that Ford Fiesta, that Coanda-colored Ford Fiesta is, I gotta say, also that Golf one looking not bad. There goes Bobby Zelensky. He's spun it. He's hit the tire barrier. And so that obviously puts his 3rd place in jeopardy, but it's not gonna matter because the front 2 are the ones that transfer, and right now that's Jordan Jens and Evan Millard. And I gotta say, it looks to me like those 2 positions are probably gonna be secure.
Not going to be happy for Bobby Zelensky. Last week out, it didn't go very well either. Another driver just took the joker. That was Chipavelski, and he's just right on the rear of Evan Millard. He's going to have 1 lap to potentially make something happen. Jordan Jens still leads, and we still have 1 driver who's yet to take that joker. That's Logan Clampett, but he is much further down the order, so the fight is going to be on for this 2nd spot as Evan Millard works himself in towards corners number 3 and 4 through this very quick chicane, then hard on the brakes into this 180-degree right-hand. Millard a little bit wider through it. We had a better straight line. Chipavelski much tighter. Now, 180-degree left. Will any of these drivers join the handbrake? No, everyone's been really calm with that. See Clampett in the background. He jokers. He's nowhere near as these drivers work themselves into the final set of corners. Quick left, quick right. Jordan Jens will come up and over the jump and win the consolation race and transfer the feature. And Evan Millard will round out the field for your main event here in just a couple of moments. But final results of your consolation race: Jordan Jens wins from Evan Millard, Stylon Chipavelski, Logan Clampett, and Bobby Zelensky round out that field. Now it's time for the feature race. 10 cars starting grid coming at you right now. Mitchell de Jong will be starting side by side with his teammate Rens Broekman on that front row. Jake Hewlett and Johan Hart in the 2nd row. Josh Rogers, Casey Kerwin, row 3. Marius Gollenbach, Zach Leonardi, row 4. And Jordan Jens and Evan Millard in row number 5. Mitchell de Jong, Red Bull Racing driver in the real world, drives a Honda Civic in the Red Bull Global Rallycross Series, has a flurry of teammates to run with him in this one. How will he do? We know that Rens Broekman is quick. Jake Hewlett showed good pace, and Jordan Jens was amazingly consistent in that consolation race. All drivers get themselves now set on the grid. Lights are on. Revs build. And we are green in the feature event. See the trio of Coanda drivers, the 3 Musketeers. Jake Hewlett, big incident, big pileup into turn 1. Mitchell de Jong gets tagged. Will he have bench suspension? He manages to hold the race lead for now. Rens Broekman, he gets put to the back of the field. And Jordan Jens, he's facing the wrong way here at the end of lap number 1. Super aggressive start by a number of the back markers.
Yeah, I saw one Volkswagen almost do a front somersault, which, look, I understand it has a curved roof, but it's not intended to do that. Then Jordan Jens, he had a self-spin on the exit of that jump, but either way, Mitchell de Jong, he has gotten away still from Joshua Rogers. Will Rogers be able to catch? Not sure, as Rens Broekman, his day is going to be done, and Hewlett is very damaged.
So 2 of the Coanda teammates, actually I think 3, because Jens ended up facing the wrong way. They all got good starting positions, but did not finish the first lap very well. Drivers who joker on lap 1 include Mitchell de Jong, Josh Rogers, Zach Leonardi. They make up the top handful of spots. Jordan Jens sits in 4th, followed by Marius Gollenbach, Johan Hart in 6th, and Jordan Jens 7th. Hart, in fact, just took the joker with Evan Millard, and they're fighting with Leonardi as they come down into the final set of corners. Wheel to wheel go Leonardi and Hart. Hart says to get off the throttle. This is potentially a big stack up here in towards this first corner. Long left-hander Millard gets into the back of Hart, very physical, and Leonardi, he overshot that corner hard.
Yeah, Leonard, it's his 2nd or 3rd time he has bumped into the back of that Ford through this last couple of corners. He's got the speed. He wants to get on through, and now Leonardi, at least according to Evan Millard, is going to be holding them up as they'll come through the very quick left 180 once again. Jordan Jens, you can see in the background, he's not going to be a factor in this one. Right now, though, it's the Mitchell de Jong show still. He has got quite a massive gap, but this 3-car car battle, Randy, is fantastic.
I've seen Jorn Jens might have still had the Joker, but he did on the end of the first lap. So you're absolutely right. He needs to reel in a bunch of time. With Millard and Hart, they go door to door. They tag the tire barriers, and Leonardi's seeing that in his mirror, saying, please, guys, fight harder, fight harder. I want to open this gap up any way I can. Leonardi seems like the slower of the three of them, but it's very difficult to make passes here at Iowa, especially when you've already burned that Joker lap. Marius Gollenbach, he's still lurking back there. He is yet to take the Joker, so he's one to keep an eye on. Jake Hewlett and Casey Kerwin, they're going to both transfer through. They take the 11-second shortcut, and they jump Gollenbach not by very much. Gollenbach will get that back if he cannot make any mistake, the Joker himself.
Yeah, massive loose by Zach Leonardi through that corner. That allows Evan Millard almost to get into the rear there. I almost wonder, perhaps, hey, since it's a German car, maybe instead of the chrome horn, it'll be the silver horn. But either way, Johan Hart, he's recovered fairly well after being bullered by that VW. He's right on the back of this as well. So it almost looks like we're going to have 2 3-car packs coming through here. But this one from position 3 on back is the one to watch.
Oh, and big moves. They're going to be 3 wide into the final corner, and tears come out. Big move from Mallard as he's not able to make that move stick. Leonardi almost gets turned, and Hart just wonderfully squeaks his way through and takes that last podium spot. The 2 Volkswagens not doing each other any favors as they work themselves through the first sector of the racetrack. All the while, Jens and Hewlett, they're looking out their windshield, seeing how physical those guys are getting, saying, please, thank you, keep this up, as we're now working lap number 6 of 10. Hart now going to be trying to open up a gap. Mitchell de Jong, your race leader, he's been able to open up a big one. And 3rd place just goes to Marius Gollenbach. He just jokered Cam, and he slots himself into a podium position.
Yeah, not bad at all. He's gone from position 9 to position 3. That just goes to show you whereabouts that Joker lap leaves you. But either way, good battling from Johan Hart. He saw that collision coming, backed out, and took the positions as windshield wipers are rocking and rolling from pretty much all these guys' cars are getting all sorts of dirt filthy. But I got to say, for Evan Millard, I mean, he's probably the fastest out of those 3 cars, and he's the one sitting back just because of how aggressive he has been in this this final here at Iowa Speedway. But you know what? We still got a good battle going on, and I almost wonder perhaps if Jorn Jens might be able to catch them.
He's been sort of reeling them in. He's been basically matching their lap times. He needs them to fight really hard, though, as actually Millard makes a little bit of a mistake through that final corner, gives us a little bit of time to Leonardi, so that's going to make things difficult for the 2 Coenda teammates of Hewlett as well as Jorn Jens in terms of catching these 2. It was a good lap last time, though, for Johan Hart, able to stretch the margin ever so little by Zach Leonardi, and Evan Millard actually pretty quick as well, the 36.9. Jorn Jens and Jake Hewlett, they're both down in the 37s. Out in front, though, Mitchell de Jong still clicking off fast laps. He's almost a second quicker than everyone else on the racetrack.
This is my, oh my God, that's extraordinarily surprising face. So anyways, with the Volkswagen of Mitchell de Jong having checked out to literally everybody, and actually Gollenbach has now, there's a barrier inside the road, and that has literally clipped everybody. It clipped Gollenbach, Harth, Leonardi, and Millard. That is just the dangers of these mobile barriers, because everybody got a piece of that, and it threw everybody into disarray. That allowed Mitchell de Jong to pull away even further.
A blue shell getting thrown out there by Marius Gollenbach didn't seem to hurt anybody too much, but it did stack up the field just a little bit. Mitchell de Jong, he comes up and over the jump, takes the white flag here in this 10-lap event. Josh Rogers, he'll do the same as Hart makes a mistake through the final sector. He'll lose a couple spots. Gollenbach stoles onto that podium position, and Hart wants to get aggressive. A 3-car scrap is going to come here on the final lap as Hart gets passed also by Millard, who throws an aggressive move. Millard almost gets turned, and Hart spins himself trying to do it. Millard is clean through the chicane, and Hart, not a very happy camper, it would seem. Red under the helmet, super angry at the moment as Mitchell de Jong, he's come down through the final set of corners, up and over the jump, and he will win 2 weeks running here at Iowa. But will anything happen down to the final set of corners? Josh Rogers, he'll finish 2nd, Gollenbach 3rd, Leonardi as he runs his 4th, Millard up and over the jump 5th, closely followed by Hart. Jorn Jens unable to pick anything up. He will finish 6th, with Jake Hewlett rounding this out in that 7th spot. Excuse me, 8th spot, and Casey Kerwin will round out these 9 cars that ran here tonight. Well, 9 of 10. Rens Broekman, his race ended on lap number 1. So an exciting and dramatic feature race there, Cam, that we see Mitchell de Jong taking it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, yeehaw there. That's a great battle, and it was Johan Harth. He had the attack on Golenbeck. Golenbeck didn't even flinch, doored him on the exit of the corner. That put Harth into the outside barrier. Once Harth was out there, he lost both of those positions, so great running in the midfield here. I would probably say this is the widest that we've seen the elbows out, and especially after that first turn incident. That was crazy, but either way, Iowa Speedway putting on a good show, but unsurprisingly, Mitchell DeJong takes it.
That he does, and with that, let's go down your post-race results here live from week number 2 of the Red Bull Global Rallycross Series at Iowa. Mitchell DeJong is perfect in this championship thus far. Poles, quickest qualifying time, poles in all his heats, pole in the feature, and wins all the way through. Josh Rogers is in second. Marius Golenbeck sits third, rounding out your podium. Zach Leonardi fourth, and Evan Millard rounds out your top 5. Johan Hart, very physical race between Leonardi himself and Millard. He will finish 6th, Jornien 7th, Jake Hewlett 8th, Casey Kerwin 9th, and Renz Broekman will round out the top 10 here today. So an exciting feature. We should get some of these drivers to turn up and talk to us. I think Mitchell will, I think Hugo, longtime teammate of Mitchell, would bully him if he didn't end up turning up. And Cam, there's a little bit of rumblings of it in the chat, and I just take a look. There's another driver, another real-world driver who's been logging a lot of laps here in the Rallycross series. His I rating slowly building up. Scott Speed might be someone who, if he can continue racing consistently, we might find him someday in these top split races.
My very first GRC race, I actually lost to him at Daytona, of all places. So, but no, actually, it's great to see Scott Speed here. Here on the service, and yeah, I think it's a good thing. When we had Dirt Oval come out, we saw a lot of real drivers come on in, and they were able to apply their trade almost immediately. Here, however, with the licensing and everything like that, they got to work their way up through there, so I would not be surprised if at least at some point in the future we don't start seeing those guys up here in top split running. Mitchell DeJong, I see him sauntering in through the RaceSpot TV booth, so we'll get him in here. But either way, I think it's been good running. Iowa put on a pretty decent show here.
Yeah, it was a very, very exciting one indeed. And you know what? Let's just cut right to it. Let's get that number 2 Quanta SimSport machine up into the booth after this one. Mitchell, do you got us?
Yep, all good.
Mitchell, it looked quiet up through the heats for you in that number 2 machine, but let's just say that feature race got started off with a bang. You got run into, your teammates all got run into. I think all of you were involved in that lap 1 incident. Was that car bent at all after that contact through that first right-hander?
Yeah, it was quite messed up after that. It wasn't doing anything weird, kind of left to right, but it was just doing some weird stuff. Like, I think I had some suspension damage in both sides, so it was quite a bit slower, but it wasn't too bad. At least it was drivable, especially compared to my teammates. They got definitely the worst end of that, and I feel so bad that that happened to them. But no, in the end, we're able to stay out front, so I can't complain so much. But
now, last week out, Mitchell, we saw Daytona Long. That's a bit of a fictional version. You guys in the real world, of course, you ran the Daytona short layout. But a lot different circuit here at Iowa. Daytona, you know, there's only a couple tight corners, but for the most part, it's actually a pretty flowing circuit. You have the very fast sector going up to the jump. The chicane's very quick. And then you have the final sector as well. Even though it's flat out, you're sort of like threading a needle. If you get a little bit wrong, you end up pushing over one of those tire barriers at a pretty high rate of speed. But here tonight at Iowa, a lot of tight corners. What's the difference in terms of racing when you have a track like this, where so much of the track is just 180-degree corners, basically through the entire midpoint and to the end of the lap?
yeah, this track is incredibly hard to nail. There's so many aspects and a lot of very, very small things that make a huge difference in lap time. So just being able to nail it, all the hairpins right, the turn-in points, and not have those micro lockups and killing your rotation. Also, the jump is kind of awkward out of that last turn section there. So sometimes you could jump too far to the left, get into the start-finish line, or you could jump too far to the right, hit it wrong, and break the car. So it's a very hard track to master. So, but it's actually one of my favorites. It's a lot of fun, and when you do get it right, it's very satisfying.
And another thing I want to ask, the difference between really most of the tracks in this one is that to my mind, all the tracks we have, the Joker's only worth about a couple seconds. And, you know, for that reason, usually you want a Joker really, really early. How does the Joker strategy change at a track such as this at Iowa, where the lap time differential is a full 11 seconds? It's a third of the lap that you're cutting off when you take that Joker. How does that change how you approach it? Yeah, it's a simple Joker, but how does it change how you approach it in terms of managing gaps behind and ahead of you?
Yeah, this one's a bit interesting. You know, you have a bit more of a strategy, I would say, with it here. Because you can pretty safely not take it as well, and you won't be affected by anyone that has. So that's actually a really good part. You can split it up more, but say if you take it on the first lap, like I was doing, you pretty much have no idea on the guys who haven't taken it, like kind of where they'll end up, because you can only see so far back while you're driving in the timing. So for me, I like to take it early if I get out in the lead, and then just focus on hitting my laps and doing the best I can, and then hopefully that's enough in the end and not worry so much about the others. But that's really all you can do.
One more short question, Mitchell. We've seen Scott Speed running on the service. Are you going to give him any tips to get that iRating so we get 2 of the real drivers in these top split races on Fridays?
Oh, that would be awesome. No, I think I did 1 race with them this week, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was thinking maybe it would be close for him to make it, but yeah, it didn't seem like he made it this time. So hopefully next week we can see him in here.
Well, thanks, Mitchell, as always. Before we let you go, any shout-outs, anything you'd like to say or whatever in that number 2 machine?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank all my teammates, as well as Virtual Racing School, Huizinfeld, and We're Design, SimQuip, Dual Reel Timing, and of course you guys, RaceSpot, for broadcasting this once again.
You, my friend, are welcome. And we're going to move on this post-race show down the road. Mitchell, thanks again. But Cam Walsh, you're stood by with Mr. Joshua K. Rogers, finished 2nd tonight. He is currently also your points leader in the iRacing Road to Pro Series, so a lot of talent coming out for these.
Yes, sir. Joshua K. Rogers, TL Ford Fiesta, the number 13, finished P. Number 2, Joshua. It almost seemed like you had a quiet night. You after those crazy starts, it pretty much just De Jong kind of just pulled out in front of you, and the guys behind you started fighting with each other. Take me through your day here at Iowa.
Yeah, obviously turn 1 was a little bit messy. I broke a bit earlier to try and stay out of everyone's way, but a little bit of net code and whatnot kind of ended that. But yeah, it was relatively quiet. Heat 1 was a little bit more stressful. I was a little bit caught out by the colder weather. Usually I'm a fan of the colder weather, but I've been practicing in hot weather all week, so that made things interesting. But yeah, in the feature, I guess De Jong just kind of started stretching his legs like we all expected him to, and it was just a fight from P2 from that point on.
Yeah, and of course the Joker, a massive cut here, and you guys both your heats and your final took them on the first lap there, and it just seemed to me this Iowa Speedway circuit, it's pretty tough. I'd have to say. I noticed a lot of people were having some difficulty trying to get over that jump cleanly. A lot of times you'd really see just the cars kind of throw off at an odd angle. Just take me through this Iowa Speedway and how you were attacking it.
Unlike some of the other tracks, I think you can definitely throw it in a bit harder. I was throwing it in a bit harder than other tracks, purely because of the fact that there's a bit more tarmac than there normally is on other ones. It's really technical. Obviously, you got that big jump, which, like you said, is quite difficult to land safely due to a bit of a dip on the right hand side of the up ramp. It kind of throws the car one way. I mean, other than that, obviously your hairpins are pretty interesting. You gotta hold it quite tight, and you gotta kind of make that choice whether to use the handbrake or not. I feel like it slows you down a bit using the handbrake, but yeah, quite technical in comparison to some of the other tracks that we have on the service for sure.
Yeah, and of course, 1 week's time, I'm sure we'll be right back at it again. You think you're gonna have anything for that Volkswagen Beetle of Mitchell?
I don't know. We'd have to put in a lot of effort to get to that point. He's just on another level, but we'll see. Hopefully I'll be back next week, and we'll try and have another crack and see if we can knock Mitchell off the top.
All right, well, thank you again for hopping in the RaceSpot TV booth. Anyone you'd like to give a parting shout-out to before we let you go?
Just huge thanks to TTL Esports for all the work they do. Our sponsors, Hyperstimulator, SimSpec Engineering, Custom Image Concepts, or Cursed Signs Lab, sorry. And also our newly unveiled TTL Driver Academy, offering some affordable coaching, so that's cool to be a part of.
All right, well, Joshua Rogers, thanks for being here. Of course, one of the Australians in the series. Of course, one of the only Australians in the GRC, but we're going to be seeing, I'm sure, some more in the dirt racing. So thanks again. We'll see you later.
See you.
All right, we've got Marius Golenbeck, and Randy, you were going to be here with Marius.
Yeah, I'm stood by with the torrent driver of Marius Golenbeck. Marius, good run from you in that number 5 machine. You started in 7th. I think you were sort of all caught up in the middle of that pandemonium that started lap 1, turn 1. But you managed to do very, very good to get yourself a good podium finish tonight. You recovered well. How was that Ford Fiesta out there today?
Hey guys, yeah, thanks of all. First of all, I'm sorry for the turn 1 wreck. I've just watched that a couple of times and it looks like I'm a bit too late on the brakes. There's no contact for me. There's like a couple of centimeters, like 20 or 30 gap to Josh, but then there's a bit of netcode and it looks like he just gets thrown to the front and just completely smashes into the corner cars. So that's definitely on me, and I should have braked a bit earlier there. So I'm sorry about that. And yeah, I mean, from then on, it was just, it wasn't much action for me. Car was good, but yeah, next time I'll just not screw up the qualifying and maybe start up a little further ahead. That will surely make things a bit easier.
It's always nice starting up near the front of the field. It makes things really, really easy. But for you, next time out, we're going to be going to Indianapolis Raceway Park. Very, very tight and technical circuit. How is Lucas Oil different from, say, here at Iowa?
Yeah, I think it's quite similar, actually. I mean, the only real difference is that turn 1 is actually coming up after the first oval turn, so you've got quite a lot of time to spread out and just like get a feel for the car and where you need to brake. And I mean, that's the biggest downside on this track, really, because like everyone just goes straight into like 4th or 5th gear and then just slams on the brakes, and it only takes one guy to make a slight mistake, and it will always cause a mayhem for the guys ahead, and that's the worst of it. I mean, you don't necessarily screw up your own race by this, but just really damage the guys ahead who can't really do anything about it. And that's a bit different on Lucas Oil, because you actually get the chance to joker on the first lap, because the joker's on the inside of turn 1, and that actually makes it possible for the field to be a bit more spread out. But then again, the joker comes in onto the racing line, so it's going to be tricky for sure, especially with such a high-class field and so many fast guys, where you really can't afford to lose any time. And it's surely going to be a crazy race once again. I mean, the pace is absolutely astonishing, especially from Mitchell, and good win for him as well. It's just dominating this.
Thanks for joining us, Marius. Congratulations on, after that incident, coming away with a big podium finish. Before we let you go, any shout-outs, who would you like to thank?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for covering this, guys. It's always been a great pleasure to be in one of these races and have it covered. And thanks definitely to the guys in my team, Simon and Mike from the team, as well as the other teammates who unfortunately couldn't attend this race because it's 2:30 a.m. in Europe at the moment. So it's a bit of a question if you're going to make it or not. But I think if they are rewatching the broadcast, they'll definitely be in for the next week.
Thanks again for joining us. Everyone, thank you for tuning in for the first race here on week 2 of RaceSpot TV and iRacingLive Friday night dirt night. Do not go away though, as we're kicking off the second segment of racing here in just a moment. That is going to be the World of Outlaw late models, live from Volusia. Don't go away. We'll be there in just a moment.
Introducing a whole new form of racing to the best online racing simulation in the world. This is Dirt Racing on iRacing.com. Race online at some of America's most legendary dirt tracks, including Eldora and Williams Grove. iRacing is the premier online racing game featuring NASCAR, IndyCar, sports cars, and now World of Outlaws, the leading sanctioning body for dirt racing. iRacing is easy to use and features a centralized ranking system to make sure you have the best experience at any skill level. With a massive inventory of high-precision laser scan tracks and cars with an unmatched dedication to quality and detail, iRacing gives you the most authentic online racing experience available. Thanks to iRacing's dynamic track system, developed specifically for dirt racing, tracks change over the course of a race, just like your favorite dirt track on a Friday or Saturday night. From a slick racing groove all the way up to the cushion, iRacing's dirt tracks deliver non-stop racing action. Partnered with the World of Outlaws, iRacing is your source for the most authentic dirt racing experience available, featuring 4 brand new tracks and 11 new cars, including street stocks, Legends cars, late models, NASCAR trucks, winged and non-winged sprint cars, with much more on the way. Join the Dirt Revolution on iRacing.com and start slinging mud today.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Oh, welcome to Volusia Speedway Park in Barberville, Florida. It is the World of Outlaws Craftsman Late Model Series. Started in 2004. These are the fastest late models you can get on the planet. So let's see what we can do here, as we have got a full smorgasbord of cars, 20 cars on the docket. Cameron Walsh, Randy Chenowth, and Hugo Lee, ready to rock and roll. And Randy, it's Volusia Speedway Park. First time we're seeing it in the late models.
And I think this is going to be an exciting one. We've seen issues with the sprint cars at this racetrack in the past, a lot of cautions typically, but the way these late models race is very, very different. The way they take the corners is very, very different. We saw a fantastic race in these machines at Eldora last week. We went pretty much caution-free all the way through. I think we're going to have a nice, clean, fun night of racing action in these late models again.
You do know that you have now jinxed it, and there is going to be a 20-car pileup going into corner number 1, right?
Yeah, well, my bad.
You know what? Someone's gonna spin out, going into the green on corner 4, and they'll give everybody a black flag, and the rest of the cars are gonna wreck now. So we have you to blame for all of this. By the way, qualifying times. Meanwhile, coming in, Cameron Higgins. Gotta say it while I can. Cameron's on top. See? But either way, Chad Ernst actually has the exact same down to the second lap time. Down to the 100th lap time, but that's not going to matter. Tyler D. Hudson, he throws in a lap time. No shocker there. He's the fastest of them all with a 16.091. Great lap time from Mr. Hudson there.
A fantastic time there from NASCAR Peak Antifreeze champion Tyler D. Hudson to put himself on pole, 16.091, a few hundredths over. As we say that, Howard Weaver, 16.063, a few hundredths puts him to the top spot. Still a couple of drivers we need to see put in times. Jordan Wesley just put one in, 16.1. He's currently third. One more time, but also Casey Kerwin. He owes us a lap time as well.
Yeah, Casey Kerwin, let's see what he can do as he's rounding this Volusia circuit. The track starts with slight usage here, so this is probably going to be the fastest we are going to see as Casey Kerwin, well, he'll throw his lap time in 16.252. That's the best he's going to get. We're split into 2 splits of 10. Let's go down heat number 1. And it is Howard Weaver, Jordan Wesley. That's going to be row number 1. Chad Ernst and Brayton Wallace starting row number 2. Austin Semmelman, he's going to be starting back in 5th in this heat. Philip Diaz, his outside. Joel Berkeley, Alec Kane, and Roman Wesley, as well as Joe Letteriello will be rounding out for heat number 1. 10 cars ready to rock and roll behind that iRacing official pace truck. Randy, you got to get right on it, get right into heat racing here. And these guys got to kind of shake off any rust they might have because they are going to be going door to door for a good 8 laps.
It's going to be an exciting 8 laps for those who are maybe not as used to this sort of racing. These are World of Outlaw late models. Late models are very, very interesting machines. Of course, closed cockpit style stock cars. They are, let's just say they move around a lot, both on the racetrack and laterally. You're going to see those cars. The body roll is immense in these things, both on the sim and the real world. Another interesting thing, Cam, between these 2 races, Global Rallycross and into this first night of World of Outlaw, the second night, the first race of World of Outlaws, a lot of pro drivers coming out to play. We saw a flurry of Coanda drivers, TTL drivers, number of pro guys in the last split. Also have a couple of Inex Racing drivers here, Joe Letteriello, Philip Diaz, of course, and actually, Tyler Hudson, of course. Mr. Casey Kerwin, we saw him last time out in the Rallycross cars at Iowa. He comes out to play in the late models here.
That's one heck of a fast airplane he has. Either way, pace truck running around here for 2 pace laps. But they are going to pull into the safety of pit lane next time by here at Barberville, Florida. Didn't have much time to talk about the track. Half mile, 4 corners, more of a bowl shape than a paperclip. It puts on a grand old show. Now, thing to remember, these late model cars, they're going to be a bit heavy. A lot of engine going to the rears. This track is going to get worn, and it is going to get worn quick. So let's see, when does Howard Weaver go in that number 2 super late model? LC give him the Mississippi count as the iRacing official pace track looks once again to pull to the safety of pit lane, hopefully for the only time here in this heat. Let's see here. Howard Weaver, he doesn't give it in a moment's thought as he pulls away, and he's got the whole shot. Easy running from Howard Weaver as we are green here at Volusia Speedway Park.
Good jump from that 2 machine and Jordan Wesley. He immediately takes that 2nd spot. Chad Ernst, he gets himself in 3rd. Side by side, though, first point on the racetrack, Brandon Wallace and Joe Berkeley. They're fighting door to door off 3 and 4. We got another driver, big issue. That's Alec Kane, almost facing the wrong way. He just lost a lot of spots and dropped to the back of this field.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy with that one. And actually, I see Austin Selman. I think he spun out at some point because he is sitting way far back. So not going to be a good day for Austin Selman. He's probably going to have to run the consolation if we get it. But either way, Joe Letteriello, he's side by side with Elkhart Kane. That's at the very back of the field. But right now, everyone is just getting through the motions. They're just getting a feel for the track. They want to see what's going on. And as far as Jordan Wesley is concerned, I'm not sure if he realizes that Howard Weaver is on it, and he is pulling away.
Howard's putting down some impressive laps right now, pulling away by half a tenth every time through. Halfway mark, popsicle sticks right here, right now as they come across the stripe into 1 and 2. Still not a lot of challenges out there. 4 positions on the racetrack, and that's not a surprise to me, Cam. Only 2 drivers currently not transferring in this field, and that's Alec Kane and Joe Letteriello. Austin Selman so far back that he's essentially got no one to fight with regardless. So I think these guys just gonna likely get themselves through clean and just get themselves to the feature here. There's actually a little bit of fighting happening between Roman Wesley and Philip Diaz.
Yeah, I see that there. Diaz, he's rolling right on through. Wesley, he closes up just enough through the middle sections of the corner, but he has to back it off. Actually bumps the wall a little bit. There he goes. He throws the slider into Philip Diaz. The number 16 will go, and it looks like Roman Wesley will pull himself up +1 position, but it's all in Howard Weaver's hands right now as he is going to be taking the white flag this time by, as the number 2 machine looking strong at Super Late Model, doing a very good job ever since the start there. He pushed the jump, and now he is going to claim victory for heat number 1. It goes to the number 2 machine of Howard Weaver. Jordan Wesley coming across the line. Chad Ernst, Brayton Wallace, Joe Berkeley, Roman Wesley, Philip Diaz, and Alec Arcane, then Joe Littorello and Austin Semmelman. So there you go, Randy, just like that. Welcome to late model running. Pretty good running right there. No cautions, no big issues except for Austin Semmelman's incident, but other than that, fairly good heat.
Yeah, pretty much clean all the way through. Howard Weaver, he's going to take that one, and now it's going to be interesting to see what can Mr. iRacing champion, NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series champion do in that 6-machine pole. Well, second place in qualifying. He's going to be starting on the pole here. I'm really excited to see what Tyler Hudson can make happen.
Yeah, and I'm pretty confident that it looks to me like we are going to be getting that consolation to feature, I think, because I think it's 7 and 7 pull forwards. That's 14 plus 1, that's 15. We got 20 cars. So in theory, we should be able to go. Cars are rolling. Let's take a look at the starting grid. Here for heat number 2, it is in fact Tyler Hudson. And you've got Cameron Higgins, Robert Schaefer, Randall Carter, Casey Kerwin, Donnie Allison, Stefan Spies, Michael Heilsman, Britton Roxbury, Jordan Mitchell, and Austin Semmelman. Well, actually, Austin Semmelman was the one who finished in 10th in that last heat. All right, kept going past down the list. That's all right. Why don't we get him back out here? Why not? Either way, iRacing safety truck looks to pull to the safety of pit lane. The next time by, cars are getting ready to rock and roll. And Randy, as far as pulling that start goes, I think for late models, it's pretty clear. Punch it as soon as the pace car gets out of the way.
Yeah, that's pretty much the situation. Also interesting to note, any of you guys live in Southern California and want to catch yourself a sight, Vandenberg Air Force Base just launched another test rocket, something that occasionally happens here, but apparently some beautiful things happening up in the skies right now in Southern California. Go out and take a peek. I got to commentate, so I can't see. Take pictures for me.
Hopefully the rocket doesn't light anything on fire. They have
it's a test
of those
rocket.
issues. I have enough of those issues. Either way, it's the safety of pit lane will pull the iRacing official pace truck as we'll get underway here for heat number 2. When will Hudson go? There he goes. Barely a half a second between the safety truck moving out of the way. He gets the whole shot 3 wide going into corner number 1. We're green, heat number 2.
It's a good start. Tyler Hudson able to stretch away here early. As we got a car around here in the back straightaway. 13 machine, Steven Spies. He's up into the wall. Big damage. Looks like we're going to stay green, though. But Steven Spies, he is not going to be happy as he goes all the way to the back, and I don't think he has any hope of transferring.
No, not unless something absolutely crazy happens. But either way, everyone else getting away is actually, there's another car around, Robert Schaefer. So perhaps he's getting his wish there because it is going to take him a while to get that car turned around. Will he be able to do it? No, he is not. So I believe Robert Schaefer's machine, yeah, they're going to pull that to pit lane. And actually, here comes Jordan Mitchell into pit lane as well. So crazy things happening in heat number 2, as they always do at Volusia. It seems that this split is the one that gets it. Tyler Hudson, he's the one that's pulled away, as Cameron Higgins is sitting in second. But the battle right now is for 3rd.
A lot of people having issues here as Tyler Hudson runs off into 1 and 2. He's still pretty much been perfect, as well as Cameron Higgins. Casey Kerwin, he's been pretty phenomenal, as well as he cycled himself onto the front straightaway. Popsicle sticks. This time through, 4 down, 4 to go.
Yeah, and Casey Kerwin, he's just covering right now. Everybody in this group should transfer, so no, nothing crazy there, but it's Stefan Spies and Michael Heilman. Those are the 2 that are fighting for that final transfer spot. But either way, it looks to me good running. We'll see if they start doing something to try to get themselves pulled through. I'm not sure how this front 4-pack is going, but Randall Carter looks like he wants to move up +1.
That he does, and it's important to remember that every spot you pick up, it's not just a finish here in the heat, you also coordinate with a starting position in the main. Odds and evens is the way it goes. Odd number qualifiers in heat 1, odd even numbers in heat 2, and those coincide with the rows you start. So the winners from the heats will be row 1, second it will be row 2, with white flags in the air. They're coming off of 2.
Yes, they are, and here comes Tyler Hudson on lap number 8 of 8, as no challenges for that number 6 machine, as he will take victory in heat number 2. Cameron Higgins will come home 2nd, Casey Kerwin 3rd, Randall Carter 4th, Britton Roxbury in 5th, and 6th it'll be Donnie Allison, and we'll get the other cars coming across here. Stefan Spies, Michael Hellman in 8th, and then you've got Jordan Mitchell in 9th with Robert Schaefer in 10th. So just like that, we're done with that. Let's see, do we move right to the feature? Or do we move to the consolation? Yes, we are. 6 cars. So we've got a 6-car consolation. Yep, 4 transfers. So I will say, Randy, I have glanced over at the Twitter sphere. Andy Lally has retweeted, of course, driver in the IMSA series, about how everybody is freaking out about the launch, and apparently there's crazy UFOs in the sky, at least according to the general LA populace.
Yeah, I've lived in San Diego my whole life, and I don't know if there's a bunch of people who hasn't lived here, but up in Vandenberg Air Force Base, sometimes the Air Force and Navy, this one was apparently SpaceX. They always launch the rockets just as the sun goes down, because they get high enough up in the atmosphere, the rocket itself will be still catching sunlight, but it'll be dark on the landmass, and because of that, you can, the views are phenomenal, and it's just a lot of people who aren't used to it, maybe it looks weird, like, oh lord, the aliens are invading. As camp, 6 cars, 4 transfer, a couple big names, Letterello, Mitchell, Selman, they need to get their way through here, and Selman's someone who'd be a favorite coming into the night.
Yeah, and he's going to have a lot of work ahead of him. He's going to really have to push on through, and for Schaefer, he's going to want to take a good bite out of this as well. Cars are going around right now, as so you've got Kane, Heilman, Loderello, Mitchell, and Semmelman, as well as Schaefer. So I just got to say also, there is a Moon Pie logo on that Heilman car, and I just think that's funny because they just launched a rocket. So anyways, you can make that joke yourself, put it back together, because we are focused, locked in here at Volusia Speedway Park. It's the consolation race. 10 laps around this circuit as the track is starting to come in under the lights here in Barberville, Florida. When will the driver of Alec Kane pull his super late model to full speed and get us underway for this 10-lap consolation B main? We'll have to find out. We'll see. He's leaving quite a bit of a gap. This is almost a sprint car gap that we see in the wing sprint cars. Will he go as soon as the truck pulls in? Truck's pulled in. Yes, he has. He's pulled a whole shot. Actually, the entire inside line has jumped the entire outside line. Loderello and Austin Selman
car
at 1,
around.
2, 3.
Car around, Mitchell Helleman, he's up in the wall, stopped in corner number 1 and 2, and his night is going to come to the end, so that's unfortunate for him. But Semmelman, he's now fighting door-to-door with Joe Letterillo. Semmelman, what a start from him, 5th to 2nd, lap number 1, 10 laps in at this B main, and Semmelman is flying. Can he go from the back to the front in this feature?
Holy cow! Yeah, the featured B main. How about that? No, holy cow! Normally the inside line is the one that doesn't get away. It's always because they're starting in on that slick stuff unless they pull their cars way down to the inside. That's crazy. As Semmelman is now finding himself in 2nd position. Again, top 4 go to the finals. So I will say, if anything, this is going to help Semmelman if he does get into this final race. He looks like he's going to want to take this B main victory to pull into the feature, because it will tell me, Randy, that he will have complete track knowledge of where the grip is right now. People who won Heat 1, they have not been on track now for some time, and that means that the track has worn in significantly.
It's going to be a nice little bit of information, isn't it, as Austin Selman works on the back of Alec Kane, looks down to the bottom here on this side of the racetrack, but not quite able to get it. Alec done a good job to find a little bit of speed, and because of that, Selman struggling to reel that gap in. Popsicle sticks now, 5 down, 5 to go as they work themselves on towards that long curved back straightaway. And 17 machine, he now moves to the bottom. Can Selman find some ground on the top? He looks really good up there through 3 and 4.
Yeah, this bull is putting on a grand old show of Volusia Speedway Park. It's always interesting in the 410 wing sprint cars. You're dancing razor's edge. These cars seem much more comfortable here, and it's putting on a pretty good show here as the battle for 3rd and 4th is taking off. Robert Schaefer, who started last in this LCQ, is just right now looking like he's going to try to run for 3rd position. Jordan Mitchell, he's the last man out. I don't think he's going to have anywhere to affect on this closing laps of this race.
Yeah, I don't think so, as these guys are going to take the 2 to go right here. Selman's lost a bit of ground to Alec Kane, so Selman likely just going to settle for where he runs. He's going to look to maybe try to make something happen as between Littorello and Schaefer. They're door-to-door. Both of these drivers will transfer regardless of where they finish, but they each want to start on that higher row. White flag, Cam, which one will start one row up, and which one will be at the very back of the field?
Yeah, and if they have an accident, I am sure full well that Jordan Mitchell's going to be happy. But meanwhile, coming into corner number 3, it's the all-red 17 machine of Alec Kane, as he will take victory in the B-Main last chance qualifier, whatever you want to call it. Schaefer's got the move done. Joe Littorello, he's got spun around there after they crossed the line, so thankfully he is now covered.
He's actually lucky. He almost didn't make it.
Yeah, but either way, he gets that last position, so it's Alex R. Kane, Austin Semmelman, Robert Schaefer, and Joe Littorello going to the final. Jordan Mitchell and Michael Heilman are not. Let's take a look at your grid here. 18 machines ready to rock and roll at Volusia Speedway Park. As it is Howard Weaver, Tyler Hudson will be starting his outside, Jordan Wesley, Cameron Higgins, Chad Ernst, Casey Kerwin, Brayton Wallace, Randall Carter, Joel Berkeley, Britton Roxbury, Roman Wesley, Donnie Ellison, Philip Diaz, Stefan Spies, Alec R. Kane, Austin Semmelman, and Robert Schaefer. Joe Littorello are your cars that are ready to rock and roll. The fireworks, the mortars, all the other fancy ones, that names I can't remember, are all popping off in the skies.
Sparklers.
Sparklers.
You need to go back and watch Joe Dirt. They have a nice class.
They're not shooting sparklers in the air. But either way, they're all pulling away right now. And actually, Jordan Wesley extraordinarily enthusiastically pulls alongside for 3 wide. No, we're not doing the salute, my good friend. Either way, if you're just joining us, it's the World of Outlaws Craftsman Late Model Series here on RaceSpot TV, iRacingLive. We've got 18 machines ready to rock and roll. It's Cameron Walsh, Randy Chenowth, and Hugo Louis bringing you this 40-lap feature event here. They are now packing behind the iRacing official pace truck. Randy, I am so excited. It's cars as far as the eye can see. This is going to be a huge main, and I'm excited for it.
18 cars, 40 laps, and a very talented field. Howard Weaver, Tyler Hudson, Jordan Wesley, Cam Higgins, Casey Kerwin, Chad Ernst, Brandon Wallace, Randall Carter, a lot of fast guys up this field, up and down this field, a lot of pro drivers up and down this field. This will be a good one. Green flag this time by.
And when will Howard Weaver go? Will he curb to pressure from the cars behind to go? I imagine he will go as soon as that safety car pulls in, but Tyler Hudson's led to the green a couple times. Hudson tries to jump the start. Howard Weaver belays it just for a moment's time, and we are green here at Volusia Speedway Park for a 40-lap feature.
How will we make it clean here through lap number 1? Bit of hard fighting, 3 wide deep in the field. One of the IDEX cars involved with that one, but Howard Weaver will hold your race lead. Through 3 and 4 is Tyler Hudson. Looking in the rearview mirror, has Jordan Wesley behind. Car hard to the wall. Off corner number 4, that's the 11 machine. Big wreck, a lot of cars involved.
Joel Berkeley also involved. He's missing his entire front end. That car is done, my good man. You can climb on out of that machine. That thing is dead. But either way, massive incident here coming off of corner number 3. Let's see where it started. The number 9 car seems to touch the 14. And once they start getting out, I think Joel Berkeley, he might have hit the pit wall or something. But either way, he got turned hard into that outside wall.
Yeah, unfortunately there from that 3 machine, got
He's
shot
still
up
trying
the
to drive
racetrack.
it. Like,
that's going to be, I think,
someone
a
needs
useless
to tell him
endeavor.
to retire. Yeah, someone needs to
They
tell
might as well
him
take
to...
that to Vandenberg and launch it into space, because I don't think that car is going to be very useful much
It's
more.
not going to make stage 2 of that rocket launch, my good man. But either way, a lot of cars missing front ends now, so let's see what we can do. But that is dangerous. That's dangerous driving. He should be pulling off, because that is ridiculous, especially when we've got such a large feature here on the show. That's not going to be good there, as someone should definitely grab him by the ear and yank him right off of the racing track. But either way, it's still going to be the battle between Howard Weaver and Tyler Hudson. We've already seen restart. We've already seen the green flag run at the start of this, Randy, and I gotta say, Howard Weaver, he knew Hudson was coming. He belayed that start, and that almost got him in trouble.
It's actually a relatively decent start for Hudson. That's something we don't see in some of these championships. A lot of times the outside drivers on these oval restarts are just a little bit too patient. Tyler Hudson showing good aggressiveness there. Didn't quite pan out for him, but still, he looks aggressive. I think that 6 machine has something for the 2 if he can get a good start and a long green run.
Yeah, the 3 car is still trying to plow around here, and I'm pretty confident we're going to be going yellow. Probably in the next couple of laps because all the cars are packing there, but he is going to try to go for 1 second, and well, seeing as he's got massive suspension damage in the front and massive suspension damage in the rear, and he has to hold the steering wheel at quarter. Either way, we're gonna go green once again here in a few moments time. It's the battle between Howard Weaver and Tyler Hudson. Howard Weaver, he gets the whole shot this time by. No issues here as we launch once again here into green flag running at Volusia Speedway Park.
Up into 3 and 4 they come. Everyone's still logging laps here at Volusia. Joel Berkeley has eventually brought it down pit road. iNext Racing driver, 3 wide in the middle. That's going to be Brayton Wallace. Up the middle is Philip Diaz. You had Chad Ernst involved in that. Also Alec Kane. So a lot of hard fighting here in the mid-pack as the front few get themselves spread away from that, thankfully, in their own minds.
Yeah, as now it looks like we are just going through and getting some good single file running here, at least through to the top 10, and that's where everything kicks off. Alec Kane, Philip Diaz, Chad Ernst all running. Austin Sullivan, he is working his way through the field right now. He started way in the back in 16th position. He's already up to 11th, almost 3 wide. Going into corner number 1 is Philip Diaz and Alec Kane. We got a good battle going on here, and in front, it's another good little battle, Roman Wesley.
A lot of fights happening up and down the field, but Tyler D. Hudson is doing a good job up at the front of the field. Howard Weaver stretching the gap a little bit, but Tyler's keeping him honest. That gap down to about 0.3 of a second, and the fight's also on for third.
So one sideways, Roman Wesley, the 16 car.
16 machine.
Yeah, he's around, he's in the wall. Will he be able to keep it going before they throw the flag? No. As it was actually, we got a replay of that because that was pretty crazy. Brayton Wallace and Alec Kane tag team that number 16, and not only was the 16 out of control, it was out of control for probably a good 500 feet there. But either way, that will push Roman Wesley to the very back of the field. Car looks like it's all right. Just got turned around, but Randy, quite aggressive racing we got here, and everybody is staying way off the back of the pace car.
That incident, pretty much just as you described it, Cam. The 5 and the 17, they basically just got up on the ropes and both body slammed the 16 until eventually he was behind them. And fortunately, it brings out a yellow, and the number 15 got a little piece of that as well, Philip Diaz, but not too much. And I think, fortunately for us, the 16, the only one involved. But aggressive fighting here at Volusia. Not a lot of room on this racetrack. It's the tightest half-mile track of all the ones we have on the sim for sure, and we're seeing the issues here tonight because of it.
Yeah, and so that pace track collecting everybody once again. It's still going to be the Howard Weaver and Tyler Hudson show. But we'll see here. This is going to be take number 3. We had our first week, not a single caution in the feature, I believe, until the extraordinary end, the very end of the race, if I remember. This one, not so much. The Volusia curse is still with us here on the iRacing service for some reason, Randy. It just doesn't seem we can shake it no matter what car we're in.
Yeah, it's just, Volusia is probably the most difficult of the tracks we have for racing. It's a difficult track to go out and hot lap all by yourself, but to race door-to-door people, it's really, really tight. Not a lot of, room for error. Not like, say, Eldora or even Williams Grove has a little bit more space than this place does, but because of that, we see all the cautions between the sprint cars and now these things. The lights out on that safety truck cam, we're going to be green this time right here.
Yeah, and Alec Kane, that's all red, number 17. That car had to retire, so unfortunate for him. But either way, Howard Weaver, Tyler Hudson, it's the 3rd time now. Hudson's tried to jump it. Everybody's tried to jump it, and Howard Weaver, he's counted to Mississippi, and he is gone. We are green here at Volusia Speedway Park, and Jordan Wesley, he's the one that really wants to get in on this action.
Great start from the 15 machine of Phil Diaz as well. He moves himself up and towards the top 5, fighting side by side with Cam Higgins as they come on in the front straightaway door to door into 1 and 2, 7 on the top, 15 on the bottom. That top side of the racetrack seems strong, but Philip Diaz gets good momentum down there. The only one who really seems to be able to make it work side by side.
Hudson. Here comes Hudson. He almost had him door to door coming through there on the drag race. Going down to corner number 1. It looks to me like Hudson has finally gotten the position. Howard Weaver, he's on the counter. It's the 2 versus the 6. Going back into corner number 3 right now. Lap 17 of 40. And here we go. They're sliding around, giving each other positions. Jordan Wesley, he is waiting to get on this action, and here he goes.
Tyler Hudson, I think, now comfortably has the lead as Weaver went a little bit defensive. Didn't want to try to take that race lead away because Jordan Wesley was there. Here comes the 4 machine now, fighting door to door with the 2 machine. A little bit of contact between these two. Race leader Hudson followed by 2 wide behind him, followed by 2 wide between the 7 and the 15 as they work themselves through 3 and 4. A lot of close racing up and down the field.
Spitting distance between 1st to 6th as the rest of the field follows along here. We've got a good green flag running going here at Volusia Speedway Park. Barberville putting on a show as it's Hudson now in the lead over Weaver finally as 1 car is into the wall. Cameron Higgins and Brayton Wallace, they've gone to the inside pit lane wall, and that's allowed Casey Kerwin a couple positions. They both continue, no problems there. So it looks to me like everyone's looking to go single file, but out in the back, they're almost 3 wide in that second pack, and Austin Selman, he is stuck trying to force his way through it.
Selman's in the middle, looking up the inside of Cameron Higgins in towards 3 and 4. That 1 machine picked up that spot and now is just fighting with the 7. He was 3 wide, like you said, with the 13. 13's now comfortably in the rear view mirror, and I think, no, actually take that back. Selman a little bit too tight on entry, but Casey Kerwin fighting with the 7 as well. 3 cars scrap and a little bit of contact. That makes Selman have to lift off that throttle.
And he throws the car way high. That opens the door for Cameron Higgins. And then following Cameron Higgins is Randall Carter. He wants to go as we've got lead battle once again. Here comes Howard Weaver. He spent a couple of laps in 2nd position. He didn't like it. So he throws the slider up in the corner. That's a slider if I've ever seen one. There's Tyler Hudson on the counter, almost putting him in the wall with his right rear quarter panel, but they will not. I'm surprised there's been so little contact. And as I say that, there comes Jordan Wesley. And that comes Philip Diaz. He's capitalizing on it.
What a run from Phillip. He started this feature in 13th. He now runs 2nd. So plus 11 through 25 laps of racing here tonight. Howard Weaver falls back to the 3rd spot. He's not going to be too happy about the move Tyler Hudson just threw. Wasn't the dirtiest move I've ever seen, but he just sort of parked the car right in front of Weaver's because that Weaver had to roll way out of the throttle to not end both their races. He did so, and he lost a lot of positions. All the while, that 1 machine of Selman still trying to fight his way through this field. He's caught up in the mid-pack, but contact behind. 16 machine almost up on the wall. He's up on the shelf again.
Here he comes on the inside of Casey Kerwin to Selman. He throws the slider. That opens the door for Casey Kerwin. Kerwin, it was also Randall Carter's are going 3 wide across the start-finish right here. Lap 27. We're halfway home and plenty some. As it also looks like Brayton Wallace wants to get some of this action. Philip Diaz, he's looking to close in. Howard Weaver is there. So Howard Weaver is collecting his position number 2 back. He's got the speed. Does he have the time? Tyler Hudson's up and away. No lap traffic to be concerned with so far. But great running here in this pack at Volusia, Randy.
It's about a 1 second gap for Tyler Hudson as he comes across the stripe right here, and Howard Weaver door to door with Phil Diaz brought that gap down. So that 2 machine is quick. 15 machine of Phil Diaz still wants to hold down on that 2nd spot though, but Wesley and Wallace, they're fighting the 2 W's for 4th spot as they come off corner number 4. And looking in the background, Selman's finally been able to get around Casey Kerwin. He's going to try to move up towards the field and reel in Cameron Higgins once again.
Howard Weaver, he looks to cross the line. Actually, it's Tyler Hudson, excuse me. He looks to cross the line. Let's see what his timer is. It's a 16.5. Howard Weaver, 16.5, 16.5. Going back down to Austin Selman, a 16.58. So Selman's running lead lap times. So will he have the time? It's 10 to go here as the racing is kicking off for position 2, 3, 4, and 5. Side-by-side action between Brayton Wallace and Jordan Wesley and Philip Diaz. He made that very courageous jump, but unfortunately still back in 3rd position as actually Jordan Wesley gets way loose coming off the corner.
Track is slickening up because of that. A lot of people, there's a lot of times they're going to start coming down. You see Tyler Hudson, he actually goes down on the racetrack looking for grip. So maybe interesting line possibly changing here as he goes back down to the inside again in 3 and 4. Howard Weaver, he still works the cushion at the top side of the racetrack, and I believe he may have made up some ground here as Hudson puts down a 16.6 and a 16.5 from Weaver. So a 10th goes the way that 2 machine. Can Hudson find something to manage this gap, or has Weaver found the speed on the top side of the racetrack? 2 machine actually he goes low as they say that.
5 laps to go around this Volusia circuit, and look, you can catch up to Tyler Hudson. You've got to pass him, and if he's covering the inside line, that is going to put on a show. Philip Diaz still battling side by side with Brayton Wallace, 15 versus 5, as Jordan Wesley looks on. Austin Selman time has eclipsed, I think, for his chances. I don't think he can catch Cameron Higgins, but either way, grand old show being put on here at Volusia Speedway Park. Couple of cautions to start this one, but we now have 4 to go, and it looks to me like Tyler Hudson's in command.
Down on toward the front straightaway again for Tyler, through 1 and 2, lap number 37 of 40. So 4 to go, as Cam just said, and Howard is still working the top side of the racetrack. He's a little bit quicker than Tyler last time through, but he needs to find a little bit of speed. Yellow flies, and that might end it.
Britton Roxbury, he's found himself in the Armco on the exit of corner number 1, and boy, did he have help. They packed it into corner number 1. Big incident, as it looks to me like Casey Kerwin was there, maybe. Well, he stuck I was going to say he probably should have backed off of that a little bit. I think he had the time to back off of that, too. Noticed he had him hooked up, but either way, Britton Roxbury not going to be happy with that one. Was running in 9th, now all the way back down to 15th, so not the day he wanted to have done. Are we going to get a restart? That's the question.
If so, they need to line them up right here, right now, and
nope,
they
lights are
have
on.
not. So yeah, we are not going to go back to green. So Tyler Hudson is going to take week 2.
That's the second time I think we've ended under caution, which is odd. We had that massive green flag run there in the middle, and that running has just been absolutely sensational. It was really good running. The track was just starting to slide off. They were just starting to search for some grip, but just doesn't look like we're going to be getting that green flag finish, unfortunately. But Randy, not a bad show put on by these World of Outlaws Craftsman late models, huh?
I mean, that was one of the best races we've seen from all of the sprint car races we've done, and then even last week. That was a phenomenal round of racing. I love these tighter circuits. Eldora's fun, but it's so spread out. I love these slightly smaller, tighter, narrower racetracks. Things get a lot more physical, and we saw that tonight. And because of that, you had some drivers, such as Austin Selman, and most notably, I think, Phil Diaz, able to work their way through the field and get good, strong finishes in this one.
Yeah, I mean, Selman absolutely impressive. 16th to 8th. Philip Diaz 13th to 4th. Cars are looking to go past the start-finish stripe one final time, as we'll get the checkered flag up in the air, and Tyler D. Hudson will be collecting that checkered flag, and we'll get them all sorted out. Here comes Hudson under the start-finish line. Not going at full speed, what we like to have seen, but there we go. Howard Weaver will come home in 2nd. Brayton Wallace will come home in 3rd. But either way, congratulations to Tyler Hudson on his victory. Let's take a look at the full results here from Volusia Speedway Park in Barberville, Florida. And Tyler D. Hudson, after 14 minutes and 40 seconds and 4 cautions, will take the victory in the feature race. Howard Weaver will finish in 2nd. Brayton Wallace in 3rd. Philip Diaz in the 4th position. Jordan Wesley will finish in 5th. Chad Ernst in 6th position. Cameron Higgins in 8th. Austin Semmelman in 9th. Randall Carter in 10th. Donnie Ellison in the 10th position, Casey Kerwin in the 11th position. Joe Letterello in 12th. Roman Wesley is in 13th. Stefan Spies is in 14th. Britton Roxbury will finish 15th. Then you go Robert Schaefer, Alec Kane, Joel Berkeley, and then, of course, your 2 non-runners who were bumped out, Heilman and then Mitchell. So, good run from our World of Outlaws Craftsman late models. Let's get them in here lightning quick. We've got Tyler Hudson and Howard Weaver. So let's take them on right before we get ready to go to the Knoxville racing track to go for our 410 Wing Sprint Cars. Tyler Hudson, good win. Take me through it.
What's up, guys? Yeah, it was a pretty fun race. Hope it was exciting to watch. Really good battle there with Howard, and yeah, we came out on top of the track. You know, we had the setup. It just got really slick. I wasn't prepared for it to be that slick, but I was able to find a groove right around the bottom of the track that had some water still in it, some moisture in the dirt. So it was hooking up down there, and I had just enough lead to hang on to it.
Yeah, and you had to pull off a lot of restarts with Howard Weaver, and Weaver was the one that basically launched every restart of this race. Take me through, it was 2 times he almost caught you out and really got you to jump, but just take me through trying to get that restart where it's just so very important to try to get that whole shot thrown into one.
Yeah, I've been preparing for this race all week, kind of doing some races here and there, and I learned pretty quickly that if you're on the top, you're at a huge disadvantage on the restarts. So I was just trying to time it right. Usually all week guys have been going when that pace car starts to turn left, and so he didn't do anything wrong there. That was me. I kind of goosed it where I thought he was going to go, and then when he didn't, I'd check up. But I still had the better line because he would have to run through the slick getting into turn 1, and that would just kind of give me a little, I could roll the top a little bit better and keep some momentum up by staying out of the slick. So it was still not too bad to start second, but yeah, he definitely had the advantage on the restarts.
These late models now, we had a lot of cautions in this one. Thankfully, we had a good old green flag run there. But these late models, they've been putting on a pretty grand old show here, and Volusia, it worked out really well. Track slicked off. Perhaps it could have slicked off a little bit more, but that would have happened if we didn't have those caution flag laps. But just take me through this late model series. This is the second time we've done it here on RaceSpot TV, iRacing Live. I mean, it is putting on a fantastic show. It's not bad when you got 18 cars starting a feature.
Well, last week I spectated, and I was like, this looks like the coolest thing I've ever seen, so I'm gonna have to race next week. And so yeah, I mean it's a really good series. iRacing made some improvements to this car a couple weeks ago, and they found a few bugs in the front end, and they fixed that, and the car is just so much better to drive on entry. It turns better. It's just more consistent throughout the whole corner. But a lot of people have given up on it, and hopefully by watching the broadcast and seeing us race and everything, they can see that it can be done. There's guys, I mean, some of the best races all week I've seen are this race and that last one. Me and Howard were swapping back and forth there for the lead for a little bit, and then that last week it was a photo finish. So yeah, hopefully some more guys come out. I know people are trying to get their licenses up with all this being new, but this is one of the best series on the service in my opinion, and hopefully it'll just keep growing.
Yeah, and well, either way, we'll get you. I don't know if you're going to be going for the wing sprint cars, but either way, we'll let you get going. Anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, I appreciate y'all letting me do an interview here, and thanks to Cameron Higgins. He did a lot of work on this car this week. We worked a lot closely together all week trying to. This was our goal. We ran all week for this one race. This was the one we wanted to win, and we came out on top. And it's huge thanks to him. Cameron Higgins, you're the man. I appreciate it.
All right, that is Tyler Hudson, your 2013 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series champion. Now let's take a look down to Howard Weaver, and that number 2 machine, he is standing by with Randy.
Yeah, I'm stood by the second place finisher. Howard, you led a good number of that feature event, but Tyler threw a physical move to get by you. It locked you up actually back down to 3rd at that point. What was your mindset there? Did you think Tyler had won the race right then and there, or you think you could get back to him?
I thought I was a little bit faster, probably, but I don't think he got into me or anything. We just were trading side jobs there, and then someone got into the back of me, and at that point I was starting to have my doubts that I'd be able to catch him. I was battling there with somebody on the inside, and once I got clear of them, I started gaining quite a bit on him, and the caution came out there. So would have been a pretty close finish. I think last lap before that caution, I really started moving up there.
Now, Howard, I got one question. It actually doesn't pertain to this race, but the next one we got coming up, 410 wing sprints at Knoxville. Knoxville, a new track here on the iRacing service. What do you think we're going to see there? How is Knoxville different from some of the tracks we've seen thus far?
You're probably going to see me wreck because I haven't ran a lap in a sprint car all week. But as far as everybody else, I think Knoxville's a good track in the sprint cars, but I don't expect to do anything in those, but I'll be there to have fun. So I'd say it'll be a good race. I ran a couple in that 13th week or whatever it is, and it seemed like you could move about anywhere there. So it could be one of the best races of the year.
Thanks for joining us, Howard. Congratulations again on the good second place finish tonight. Before we let you go, any shout outs who'd you like to thank?
Yeah, we want to thank VLR, Burberry Designs, Team Friday Chassis Consultants, you guys, RaceSpot TV for covering it, and yeah, Tyler there for racing me clean. It was a good race. I wish it stayed green, but yeah, I'll be at the next one and hopefully finish in the top 20.
That was Howard Weaver. Cam, over to you as we prep for the sprint car capital of the world at Knoxville.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even think we're going to get a commercial break in here. We'll have to confer with Hugo. But either way, of course we will. All right, then. We're going to cut it. We're going to break it away here from Volusia. We're going to hop on. I don't know what the heck we're going to hop on. It's got to be something quick. We'll hop on that rocket, Randy, and we'll head on over to Knoxville Raceway. And we're going to go to the sprint car capital of the world. And boy, is it. So you're going to be in for a treat in a couple moments' time. We'll be right back. You're on RaceSpot TV and iRacingLive. Thank you so much for watching the late model section. Let's go to the wing sprint cars.
I actually, really enjoy dirt racing. Feels good to get in the car, and we have, great cars and engines and things at KKR, so it's nice to drive a fast sprint car.
Couple of separate lines developing, three wide action on a turn two. Craig Kinzer, Casey Kane, and Kieran Pittman going to get it.
I think the differences between, NASCAR and the sprint races on dirt is just a much different mindset. The way you drive your cars, the setup, the feel you're looking for. I think one of the hardest things to tell as a fan is when you're watching a race, whether it's a NASCAR race, a dirt race, is just what's really going on in the car. With iRacing, you can get the way that the track's changing, which they've done a great job in how the track changes throughout the night or throughout the race, just to try to capture it and let the fans play it and realize, like, man, there's actually a lot going on, and you can't always see that when you watch a race. So I think it's pretty neat. It's, enjoyable for me, but at the end of the day, it's actually much of a simulation, and there's a lot of ways that you can learn from that. And early on, it was neat to look at the Cup tracks that I was going to, places that I had never been. So I think it kind of gives you a head start leading into a weekend. It's pretty real life, and that's pretty neat.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them four abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Welcome back to Hashtag Dirt Night. Hello, everybody. I'm Cameron Walsh with Randy Chenowth and Hugo Louis. We've got the big show here at the Sprint Car Capital of the World, Knoxville Raceway. Yes, it was started in 1800s. They were racing horses here. 1901 was the first automobile race, if you can believe it. It's a fairground circuit, which means, of course, high banks, or high walls, I would have to say, and it's semi-banked, and it has always proved a good show. It has got the title of the Sprint Car Capital of the World. They don't call themselves that. They have certainly earned that. Randy, it's the first time here at Knoxville Raceway, and I'm pretty excited about it. I love fairground racing.
Yeah, fairground racetracks are sort of an American thing. I don't, they of course don't run these sorts of cars anywhere else in the world, but it's a entirely different form of racing on these sorts of racetracks. They tend to be wide, they tend to be really, really fast, so it's always going to be a good show. For those who want to aware a little bit of the history in Knoxville, well, let's just say it is the sprint car capital of the world. NASCAR has Daytona, Formula One, you could argue, has Spa and Monaco, endurance racing has Le Mans, sprint car racing has Knoxville.
You mean Formula One capital isn't in the race that they did in Phoenix? That's crazy talk.
No, it was at the Caesars Palace, actually, in Vegas.
We don't talk about that race. Anyways, so a bunch of people putting in quick lap times. Lots of names that I'm quite unfamiliar with, which is the great aspect of this heat racing. We get to almost double the size of the field available, and it puts on a grand old show. No longer these old 13-car splits, as I gotta say. Qualifying times now rolling in. Josh Harm, Weston Newell, and Summer Franke are your top 3 right now. And I gotta say, pretty comfortable running here.
Yeah, qualifying is pretty tight. Nelson Webster, that's a new name we've never seen before, 15.396. He's looking really quick, especially when you have the likes of Holly and the other drivers, Semmelman as well.
Yeah, so either way, we're going to get ready to go to Heat 1, but either way, Randy, just Knoxville Raceway, as you said, it's a grand old circuit, half-mile, 4 corners. We'll see how the racetrack develops. I'm not sure. I haven't seen a race here. How does the track run in?
I've not actually done any racing here either. So it's going to be an interesting one for me as well. I've been doing a little bit too much of Global Rallycross, if I'm entirely honest, as Howard Weaver's going out there on the racetrack to put himself a qualifying time. He has yet to do one just yet. As he's going to work himself off corner number 4, he's going to come across the stripe. He's going to do a 15.9. That puts him last anyways.
way to amp that one up, but either way, the heats are going to be grid. And Randy, what is the grid for heat number 1?
Looking down the starting grid for heat number 1, Nelson Webster takes pole here. David Heileman in 2nd, Bradley Cash 3rd, Nick Cooper in 4th, Adam Elby 5th, Bob King in 6th, Joe Lottarello 7th, Alex Bergeron in 8th, Graham Boland 9th, and Howard Weaver rounds out the 10 cars in heat number 1. And of course, 7 of them will transfer after 8 laps of racing.
Yeah, and of course, here on iRacingLive, RaceSpot TV, this is 3 of 3 races that you get. It is, talk about a value bang for your buck. Normally, you'd get these things all split apart and, watch one here on one day, the year on the other day. No, you have got it on Friday nights here on RaceSpot TV. What better way to end it than with the 410 wing sprint cars? The World of Outlaws Craftsman sprint cars here. I'm noticing everybody is adjusting their wings. They've really threw them back, and I don't think that's a surprise there, Randy. Throwing that wing all the way back to throw all that weight on the rear, that right rear, is the all-important thing.
That really is the key to getting pace out of these wing sprint cars. Out of really any sort of dirt racing machine, it's all about getting that right rear hooked up. The more it is, the more traction you get on the rear tires, the more you can drive the car with that throttle, and that's the big key to being fast on dirt. It doesn't matter if it's actually these sorts of races or if it's rallycross. It's all about getting good drives to the dirt and wheel spinning as little as possible, as I believe Mr. Heileman, he's just wheel standing.
He just did a donut. Don't do that. You got a heat race to race in, my good man. As the number 4 car, that is, I have not seen that on the exit to pit lane, but either way, Pace Truck is out and about, and either way, Nelson Webster, he's looking to take the lead here. As we said, new names, new challenges. Let's see if they can take it to the old pros, as they're going to be crossing that start-finish line one more time and get ready to rock and roll. Pace Truck should enter, I believe, through the backstretch. Maybe, I think. I haven't seen a Pace Truck roll in here yet. So
that's sort of an interesting pit road here.
Yeah, it's, well, you know what? It's a lot like how they run at Oswego. You enter halfway through the back, you roll through the pit lane, and then you exit onto 1 and 2. So let's see when the pace truck pulls in. Let's see if he does some rock climbing, because I mean, we've seen that at Linear. Let's hopefully not have that. But either way, Nelson Webster, he's ready to rock and roll. David Heilman, after doing his donut, he's ready. Bradley Cash, Nick Cooper, let's see where they go. The pace truck pulls off, and there they go. It's as wide a track as you can imagine. Space as far as the eye can see, and we are green for the first time here at Knoxville Raceway.
Nelson Webster's out to a good, clean start here. David Heilman, he's running strong as well. First side-by-side between Nick Cooper and Brad Cash. As Alex Bergeron gets a little bit physical with Bob King, moves him up the racetrack and out of the way. So Bergeron wants to make his way up through this field. He's got 2 cars fighting side-by-side, though, in front of him. He gets to the inside of Bradley Cash, and he wants to try to make a move on Adam Elby as well. Bergeron maybe not qualifying strong, but moving up through this field.
Yeah, siding this way and that as he is trying to go through. He gets so very close to Bradley Cash and so very close to Adam Elby, as I think Cash, he had to back out 1 car into the wall hard. Bob King, he's up and around.
Bob King's going to have to try to transfer his way in through the consolation race, because that is going to be the end of heat race number 1 for him. Nelson Webster's still out in front. He's going to come across here, take the popsicle sticks, 4 down, 4 to go. Top 7 transfer through. Bubble Boy is Howard Weaver, 2nd place finish for the late models. He's fighting for a transfer spot with Graham Boland down the back straightaway.
Yeah, that outside line really seems to have a grand old exit here, as that inside line just doesn't seem to get the speed, but Graham Boland is trying to make an effort for it, as we've got 8 laps as we're on lap number 6. But either way, good running right now from the cars up in front. Bradley Cash, he's on the inside of Adam Elby right now. Alex Bergeron, he's not going to move up anywhere further. And the name of the race is Nelson Webster, the driver from California. He has been doing a great job. David Heilman as well, covering in 2nd here, as they're going to be pushing close to the last lap. Knoxville Raceway putting out a pretty decent show. Alex Bergeron, I'd have to say, was the man of this one.
Yeah, that he was. Alex Bergeron doing a fantastic job in this heat. Started 8th of 10, and he gets himself up into that 4th position to transfer strong.
He's going for
They're
more.
going to be taking the checker.
Yeah, they're going to be going across that. He wanted to try to go for more. It wasn't going to happen there. Nelson Webster, he'll get the checkered flag. David Heilman, Nick Cooper, you're 1, 2, and 3 of this heat. So great running, I have to say, from this crew. That incident with Bob King, unfortunate, but either way, he'll have to run his way in. Heat number 2 is already coming through onto the grid, but before we do that, let's just take a look at the results real quick. From heat number 1, Nelson Webster, David Heilman, Nick Cooper, Alex Bergeron, Adam Elby, Bradley Cash, Howard Weaver are your ones moving up. Graham Boland, Joe Liriello, and Bob King, well, they're going to have to go to your LCQ Last Chance Qualifier B main, whatever you want to call it. All right, looking at grid number 2, it's Kevin Holly. He's made his return. He's starting in the 1st position. Tim Ryan, he's starting in his outside. We haven't seen him yet this season. This is actually going to be quite the interesting front row. These guys do have history. Jordan Mitchell will be starting 3rd, Joel Berkeley 4th, Lewis Hewitt in 5th, Austin Semmelman in 6th, Dylan Sharman 7th, Corey Wenzel in 8th, and Casey Kerwin in 9th. And Randy, I think that this split is definitely going to be the interesting one.
A lot of exciting names up and down this one. Kevin Hawley, Tim Ryan, Jordan Mitchell, Lewis, Semmelman, Sharman, Wenzel, Kerwin. There's a lot of fast guys in this one. There was a lot of new names in the last heat, interestingly enough. There's a lot of familiar names in this one.
Yeah, and they are going to put on a show. I'm not sure who is going to be making this this feature race here from this split, because you just don't know. Tim Ryan is, of course, starting outside. The lights go out of the pace truck, so we don't have to worry about the pace truck needing a binoculars to see the cars behind him. Kevin J. Holly, he's riding high. He's almost pushing Tim Ryan into the cushion, and I don't think Tim Ryan's happy about that. Either way, let's see what we can do here as we are ready to go green for heat number 2 here on Dirt Night on iRacingLive, RaceSpot TV. Happy to have you with us. It's a grand old time. 8 laps here at Knoxville. And let's see what we can do. Kevin Holly, he'll wait 1 Mississippi, he'll wait 2 Mississippi, he'll wait 3 Mississippi. The couple of cars made contact, and there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Tim Ryan, he collected somebody, and he is not going to be happy about that one.
No, he's not. He's going to drop way down the order, and he actually gets into another driver. Tim Ryan did that one all by himself. Casey Kerwin not going to be a happy camper and an experienced guy on the NASCAR side of things. He's not just going to allow himself to get pushed inside like that. He's working the top side wheel to wheel with Tim Ryan. And here comes Sharman 3 wide down the back straightaway at Knoxville. Kerwin gets tagged again. Sharman and Kerwin, excuse me, he's in the wall down low.
I think he might have broke something. Something might have popped off on that car. I'm not sure, though. Either way, no, his car looks to be all right. Tim Ryan right now is sitting in that transfer position. Nobody's even looking at the front of this field. Lewis Hewitt, he wants to get up there, so it's going to be Lewis Hewitt versus Tim Ryan. As looking up front, some good running right now between Austin Silverman and Jordan Mitchell, as well as Corey Wenzel looking alongside. Everyone getting a feeling for each other here as the track is going to start to wear in. That outside line is a finite thing. It will go away. Kevin Holly, though, he's enjoying it up top. He's got nobody around him after that start.
Oh, one driver all over the berm on the inside. That was Austin Silverman throwing a physical move on Jordan Mitchell. No contact, but up and over the berm on the inside for him. He throws the slider now through 3 and 4. Wheel to wheel with the 19 and contact. This might end both of their heats here. Silverman, big contact. Jordan Mitchell as well. And I believe that was Corey Wenzel just squeaked by both of them saying, thank you guys for giving me a couple spots here. They're still going to go wheel to wheel through 3 and 4.
Now they're blocked each other's wheels. They're not happy with each other. Settleman and Jordan Mitchell, you both are looking to transfer. You've only got 2 laps to go. Why risk it? As Kevin J. Holly will be looking to pick up the white flag this time by as Joe Berkeley. He's happily sitting in second. He sees everything going around and goes, oh my goodness me, what have I gotten myself into? This is what they normally do on the old Monday nights. But either way, good side-by-side running. Dylan Sharman, he's in the wall.
That was not smart racing, I have to say, from Dylan Sharman. He's already in a transfer spot, fighting with Jordan Mitchell like that through a hard move. Actually, that may have been Mitchell who caused that, but regardless, silly on whoever caused that. Already in a transfer spot to end the race that way.
Oh my goodness me, what action. This cardiac input here is skyrocketing.
There was some less than smart racing in that heat.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there. Let's hope they clear that out for the consolation. Let's take a look at the finishing results for heat number 2. Kevin Holly, Joel Berkeley, Corey Wenzel, Austin Sebelman. Heat transfers. Tim Ryan, Jordan Mitchell, Lewis Hewitt, and Casey Kerwin and Dylan Sharman will have to make it up in the consolation. We only got 5 cars here, so hopefully the elbows won't be as out. Heat 1, well, that's what you'd like to see. Heat 2, well, that's what you might see.
Yeah, that was really bad. It is only going to be a 5-car feature here. 4 cars transfer. Graham Bolin, Kerwin got bullied in that last heat. Sharman got bullied in that last heat. Bob got bullied in that last heat. There's going to be a lot. Actually, no, I take that back. Bob got bullied in heat 1. There's going to be a lot of hot heads in this heat. We only need only one driver will not transfer out of here. Which one will it be? 10 laps for them to decide it.
Probably the first one that wrecks.
Well, you never know, because if they might wreck and then someone else might wreck harder. That has happened.
Oh man. Either way, cars are pulling out onto the track right now. Nobody does a donut, thankfully. Either way, looking at your starting grid,
funnily enough, that was the cleanest heat.
Right? I was worried until they showed me. But either way, Graham Bolin, he's going to take the green flag. Casey Kerwin, he's going to work his way in. Joe Letterello, he's going to be working his way in. Dylan Sharman and Bob King. So outside of Graham Bolin, basically everyone here, we're familiar with these names from Top Split Running, and I'm pretty sure Graham Bolin's looking to enter into that field. So we'll get it going under the way here as the lights are out on the iRacing official pace track. They go past the starter stand one final time, and we will go green. And then we'll see what we can do.
Wait, why did you sing that? Why did you sing?
Because let me get to the point I was trying to make. Let's see how many cars we can finish here in the last chance qualifier. You only need one. It's a game of musical chairs, basically, Randy. You've got 4 chairs, 5 people, and the music's playing, and they've got to walk around this Knoxville Raceway circuit at high speeds to see who is going to get into those 4 chairs. So I'm excited for it anyways. But either way, last chance qualifier, it's green at Knoxville Raceway, sprint car capital of the world. 5 cars, only 4 slots to go. Let's see what they can do.
Graham Bolin gets a good jump here as Bob King sets his sights on Dylan Sharman. This is for the transfer spot at the tail end of the field. Sharman working the middle. Bob King's got it hooked up on the cushion. He's going to take away that 4th spot. What can Sharman do down low to potentially pick up some spots here? Still wheel to wheel with Bob King.
Yeah, Graham Bolin, he's covering over Casey Kerwin. He wants to get in the lead and start pulling away, but either way, Dylan Sharman, he's the one that's sitting in that position now. He's the one that's sitting back there. Lap times coming in. I gotta say, Dylan Sharman, he certainly has speed, so everyone here has a chance. We'll see what they can do. Graham Bolin, he's just trying to cover. Now, these guys, I will say, whoever gets into the race does get that added benefit of knowing where the track is at and what they can do. Up top goes the car of Casey Kerwin. Graham Bolin stays low, but I think low side right now is still fast.
Joe Letterello's going low. We're seeing all these drivers slowly move up the racetrack. Cam, so your hypothesis maybe not panning out. Letterello wheel to wheel with Bob King. This is for the tail end of this B main. The final transfer position. These drivers are 3rd and 4th, and Dylan Sharman on the outside looking in, trying to find some way somehow to get a move done and get himself into the feature. Popsicle sticks this time. 5 down, 5 to go. Who will find their way in is Sharman. He gets pushed up the racetrack by Letterello.
Yeah, he almost had a wheel in, but Letterello, he closed the door as it looks to me like Letterello, he is looking that Pennsylvania driver to get in, but it is Dylan Sharman all over the rear. He pulls it on the inside. He's gone onto the slick stuff, that TTL driver. As they're going side by side, they make wheel to wheel there. Sharman had to get way out of it, but he's going to stay in a massive slider, and they make contact.
Aggressive move by Sharman, trying to stick it to the inside like that. I don't think there was any way that move was going to stick, but he wants to transfer. Joe Letterello is doing a fantastic job just holding his ground here, and it's going to be popsicle sticks this time too. I said that earlier. I meant cross flags. I think I've been doing that all night. But Sharman, he's got the run. Is up the inside, down low. Here comes the slider. He has the spot for a moment, but Joe predicts it, gets that drive back down to the racetrack. He takes that spot. White flag this time through.
Yeah, Graham Bolin looks to me like he's going to be going through. Casey Kerwin looks safe. Bob King looks safe as here comes Letterello on the outside. Dylan Sharman on the inside. Will he throw the slider up into the wheels again? No, he had to back out of it this time. He didn't want to risk wheel-to-wheel contact. There they go. Once again, Graham Bolin takes the victory as there goes
Sharman's
the
around.
car. Yeah, and there goes the 13 of Dylan Sharman. It looks to me like the game of musical chairs. He's not even going to cross the finish line. As oh, you know what though? He's going to put on a show. He's going to cross the finish line doing a wheelie. You know what? If you're out, you might as well do it with style.
Fireworks just started going off, and I thought his heart has exploded based on what he just did after the checkered flag there. But what a physical race. Sharman has to be really disappointed. He was in a transfer spot. He was in a transfer spot up until that very last lap. I don't think the incident was his fault, but regardless, he pushed a side-by-side race, and on the white flag, I think I would have just cruised and made it home to the finish. And then going to the end, Joe Letterello, he just placed his car perfectly. That's all he did. He wasn't I think Sharman was quicker of the two of them, but Joe just gave him nowhere to go. Well done by the NX driver of Letterello.
Now let's take a look at the Knoxville Raceway starting grid here. 18 cars out of the 19 that we've had are ready to rock and roll. Let's take a look at the starting grid. It's Nelson Webster. He starts number 1. Kevin J. Holly will start second. Fireworks in the air. David Heilman in third. Joe Berkeley. Cars are pulling away. Starting in fourth. Nick Cooper. Corey Wetzel. Alex Bergeron. He'll be starting in seventh. Keep your eyes on him. He was super aggressive. And lo and behold, starting his outside is Austin Semmelman. Adam Elby. Tim Ryan, he's going to be starting in 10th. They had an interesting heat number 2. We'll see where he can land. Brandley Cash, Jordan Mitchell, Howard Weaver, Lewis Hewitt, Graham Bolin, Casey Kerwin, Bob King, Joe Letterello, and Randy. I am excited about this. This looks like this is going to be a nuts of a race.
This is going to be exciting. Inside row, all those drivers who were calm through heat. Hot heads from heat 2. I just want to confirm, Cam, we got word from Elon Musk. What we saw in SoCal, there's a nuclear alien UFO from North Korea, so drama.
See, either way. Behind the iRacing official pace track, as the fireworks are going off, but I don't hear them, which is very unfortunate for me, but they're beautiful. They're beautiful. background. Lights are out now, however, and these 410 wing sprint cars are ready to put the pedal to the metal for you, the iRacing fans out there around the world. Thank you so very much for making iRacing Dirt Night part of your Friday night. It has been an absolute pleasure here on RaceSpot TV. Let's get this underway. Nelson Webster, he takes the green. David Heilman is in pursuit. We are green for the first feature that we've had on Knoxville Raceway.
Good hard fighting already. Nelson Webster's out to a good lead here. The Ford machine and David Heilman coming under attack from Kevin J. Hawley, but Hawley's not able to make that move just yet. Next side is just behind between Berkeley and Nick Cooper. The spots are going to be 3 wide as they come off that corner. The 14 machine trying to make it 2 for 1, and what a move from Berkeley. He's done it. Oh, car up in the wall upside down.
Yep, there's somebody having a bad day. Will the caution come out for Graham Bolin? No, he won't. Okay, all right, we stay green, and there's another retirement. Yeah, Adam Elby. So either way here, we stay green here at Knoxville Raceway. Massive battle going on from position 4 on back. Joel Berkeley is involved with Alex Bergeron. Bergeron's high. Nick Cooper is low. And it looks to me like we're having a grand old race as Joel Berkeley, he gets into the wall just a tad, but he's still attacking on Kevin Hawley.
Still aggressive fighting here at Knoxville as Hawley's holding on to that 3rd spot as they work themselves down on toward the back straightaway, and Nelson Webster still holds the race lead.
Yeah, so for Nelson Webster, he looks to be in command here, lap number 5 of 30. So David Heilman, he's hovering right now. Caution flags out, 1 car upside down, sitting in the middle of the track, as that is Kevin Hawley. He's going to be out of the race here, and who caused that one? Was that the pilot of Kevin Hawley? Yes, it was. It was a solo car incident going down the start-finish line, and Alex Bergeron collected him.
So Kevin J. Hawley just all by himself. He's going to be really irritated about that, Cam. He had good speed. I think he just jumped the cushion is all that happened in that number 11 machine and tagged the outside wall.
Yeah, just tragged out. And I think, yeah, he hit that cushion and it got him loose. I don't think it threw him in the outside. It got him super loose and he just threw the correction, and that unfortunately is right where the wall straightens out for the straight. So Kevin Hawley's day is done. And it was looking like it was certainly going to be an interesting night for him, but either way, so you've got Lewis Hewitt, Graham Bolin, Adam Elby, and Kevin J. Hawley are now your retirements. Right now, we've got 14 cars sitting here pretty ready to rock and roll once again behind that iRacing official pace track. My goodness, Randy, this track, I can see why it's the sprint car capital of the world, because that was a heart attack on wheels.
It was a little bit hectic, wasn't it, that start? We lost a number of drivers on that green flag run. Kevin Hawley, Lewis Hewitt, Graham Bolin, Adam Elby. All those guys, fortunately for them, they were not the one driver who didn't make it, but none of them make it to the end of this race. It's interesting to see, though, that Nelson Webster's still a new name we're not used to seeing on these dirt nights, Cam. Didn't see him in any of our Monday night shows, and he's pretty much dominated all the way through here.
Command, and David Heilman, his outside, I'm not that familiar with him as well, but either way. Also, I didn't do my normal update here, so I shall. We have got Australians. We have got Australians to the number of which I've never seen. I think we've got like 5 of them. So either way, the Australian.
I didn't know there were that many Australians.
I mean, it's a big continent, but yeah. Good for them that they can have the infrastructure to have 5 people connected to the internet at the same time. Either way, pace truck pulls off Nelson Webster. He puts the metal to the pedal. And that's a little bit of dyslexia. As they are green once again here at Knoxville Raceway, lap number 10. And there goes up the track Joel Berkeley.
Joel Berkeley throwing a big move for the 2nd spot. Bergeron, Tim Ryan as well, down to the inside. But Bergeron, he's trying to dig to get him. He's working the top side. He's not going to be happy to just lost that 2nd spot, but he's got one of the most aggressive drivers that run in these sprint cars just behind him with Alex Bergeron.
Yeah, Bergeron, he has been on max attack. He did not have a good qualifying, and he has been cycling away, pushing car after car after car. He's riding the cushion right now in that number 1 machine, and he's proudly hovering that number 1 machine. as he looks, will he try a pass on the outside of David Heilman? I don't think so. He'll end up doing what Kevin Holly did if he does that. But either way, we've got a good green flag running here. Howard Weaver, he's pulling to the inside. Austin Selman, he collects one car as he's in trouble as the number 2 machine straightens himself out. He's finding himself stuck in the back of the pack.
Not a good night of racing for Austin Selman. He did not have the late model race he would have wanted. Started from the back, was unable to drive himself up to the front, not having a great sprint car outing. Coming under attack for the first time from Joel Berkeley. Joel gets just alongside, coming off the corner and now down this straightaway, front straightaway in towards 1 and 2. He's going to try to make the move. Stick Webster, though, drives it down to the bottom. Berkeley, no momentum. Webster holds on to the lead.
And he just cleared him too, so if he was a little bit better on that, you got might be parking that car at some point when he throws that slider. Here comes Bergeron with his slider of his own. How high up the track will he go? He'll back out of it. He sees that number 4 machine sitting there as he'll try it again, and here comes Nick Cooper. Nick Cooper, a little bit of speed. Massive slider from Corey Wenzel as well. Sliders are being thrown everywhere. The track is loosening up.
Track loosening up indeed as Berkeley and Webster get it back and defend. Yes, he will. Down the back straightaway and into 3 and 4. He will come 15 machine. He looks hooked up. No one can get around him and stay there, but he makes the lead.
Yeah, there you go. Joel Berkeley is now going to be your race leader. David Heilman is going to be in second position. David Heilman, he'll clip the outside wall. That allows Alex Bergeron to perhaps try to make an attempt on the outside. Nothing's going to happen there. There goes Nelson Webster. Webster, he is running right now as they are covering positions. Randy, things are going bonkers here.
Aggressive fighting 3 wide with Webster, as well as Heilman and Nick Cooper for this second spot down into the back end of the straightaway. And Webster, he needs to try to reel in Joel Berkeley. He's got clean track, and Joel's been able to stretch out a gap.
Yeah, and here comes Webster. Webster's covering high. Webster's covering. Get away is there. He clips the outside wall. Hey, David Heilman follows him up into the wall, and here comes Bergeron. The number 1 machine, he's now cycled away for 4th position or 3rd. Where will he get? They go 3 wide into corner number 1, and here comes Bob King. He gets clipped, and he collects Bergeron. Well, 2-car incident, absolutely crazy here, and that's 2 nights over just like that.
That was a silly move, I think, from Bob King. He tried to throw a big slider. He drove that car over the berm, and I don't think if he would have cleared any of the drivers he tried to slide, the way he slid up, and I think that was gonna be an incident regardless of what happened. Not sure what Bob King was thinking, honestly.
Well, I mean, if Nelson Webster wasn't there, I think
but
that
he was.
He was, but I think Webster might have had a bad corner entry. But when you got to remember the inside, the bottom of the track. So he hit the flat section of the track, and that kind of threw his car. Bergeron, nowhere to go, complete innocent victim, and actually collected somebody else. I think that might have been Semmelman, actually. No, Howard Weaver. But here you go, just like that. We're down. But either way, the pace truck collecting everybody once again, and somebody's not a happy camper. They'll take the driver on. That's Howard. Not sure what he needs to do, but either way, he's going to do it.
Yeah, knock it. It's still on a safety truck, and we will get a restart here. Just be a handful of laps to go to end this 30-lap feature tonight.
I think, you know what, he wanted to test his car. He wanted to test it, and we'll see what he can do there. Lights are out on the pace truck. We've only got a couple of laps to go, and let's see. Where will Joel Berkeley go this time? The pace truck kind of gives you a wide berth. Nick Cooper, for the first time, he's going to be starting the outside, and he started in 5th. Joel Berkeley started in 4th. Let's see where they go.
So restart coming at you here in just a moment. Lights are out. Pace car getting ready to come down on towards pit lane. 6 laps to go when they go green flag. Racing and Joel Berkeley, he lets them go early. He has a huge margin as they run off towards 1 and 2 here at Knoxville. 6 laps to end it. Nelson Webster, he has the 2nd spot. Cooper and Selman, they're fighting for 3rd, and Cooper want to move up the inside. He's going to try to take the 2nd spot. He throws it down along the inside, right up against the berm here as they work themselves down onto the front straightaway. 4 laps to go now for Joel Berkeley. Here's caution flies A little bit deeper down the field. Not sure who brought that one out, but caution will fly here, and I think we might just get a restart. It'll be tight. Still trying to figure out who brought out the car. Oh, it started on the front straightaway. A couple cars around, one car up into the wall. There's a white car. Joe Letterello involved in this one. 16 or 18 machine as well. The 18 was Casey Kerwin, and Casey pretty much did it all by himself. Just coming off corner number 4. He's got a little bit loose, had a car to his inside, and he tried not to get into that car down on the inside, and unfortunately he just tapped that wall and ended up collecting Joe Letterello. So unfortunate for him. We're probably going to get back to racing here in just a moment, and I think we will indeed. Lap 28. We'll know after this lap, with the field forming up. That's going to lead me to believe that we are going to get a restart. So lights are still on the safety car. And we'll get confirmation here in just a moment if we're getting a one-lap restart or not.
Well, we'll have to find out here. You know, it was pretty decent, at least to them, to you know, not have to worry about doing any racing. I didn't necessarily see what brought the caution out. But,
Kerwin just hit the wall off for.
Okay, so either way, we'll see. Will we get a one-lap dash for the cash? Yes, we will. Okay, so we're going to go to Green Flag Racing. It's going to be a battle between Joel Berkeley and Nick Cooper. Austin Selman is there, as well as Nelson Webster. He's been leading the majority of this race, so he is going to want to get in on this, as well as David Heilman. So expect some chaos going through this one-lap dash for the cash. Pace Truck is going to be looking to pull into the safety one final time of pit lane. We will see when Joel Berkeley will pick up the 410 wing sprint car, and we will see where he goes. He goes as soon as he can, and he gets the whole shot, and here comes Nick Cooper way to the inside, but he's lost his speed. That gives Joel Berkeley the gap he's looking for. Austin Sullivan, he's running the outside line, and we've got a massive incident.
Pile up.
But it's not going to matter. We've got to finish the race. As Joel Berkeley, he's coming to look across the start-finish line. He will take victory. And the 410 Wing Sprint Cars World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Cup Series, Austin Selman will finish second. Nick Cooper in third. And Randy, huge pile up in the back.
Yeah, that was pretty much Tim Ryan coming off the corner. He just drove up in front of Howard Weaver, and we lost a lot of race cars in that one. A lot of tumbling sprint cars. There, he just basically cut the nose off of Howard Weaver, no other way to say it, and because of that, Tim Ryan, he ends up upside down, as did Howard Weaver and the 10 machine of Corey Wenzel.
Well, he started tracking out on the natural track out. I mean, it's not like his steering wheel moved at all. But yeah, for if you know you're 3 wide, which he might not. I mean, he threw. I don't know if he saw Corey Wenzel coming in. I think Corey Wenzel, he's the one that had the good exit, and I think because of that, he was probably expecting Weaver to pull upside. But either way, no matter what, even then, this incident was still going to happen because Casey Kerwin had tagged Lotorello. So that this incident was going to happen one way or another. But either way, little good last lap dash for the cash. Let's take a look at the finishing grid here at Knoxville Raceway. The results will be coming up on your screen now. And Joel Berkeley, he takes victory. Austin Selman so close. He'll come home in second. Nick Cooper will finish third. Nelson Webster, oh, what could have been? He'll finish in fourth position. David Heilman in fifth. Jordan Mitchell in sixth. Casey Kerwin, seventh. Joe Littoriello in eighth. Howard Weaver in 9th, Corey Wenzel in 10th, Bradley Cash in 11th, Tim Ryan in 12th, Alex Bergeron in 13th, Bob King will finish in the 14th position, Kevin Halley will finish 15th, Lewis Hewitt will finish 16th, Graham Bolin in 17th, Adam Elby in 18th position. So that is going to be it. We have interviews on the way, and after that we will get them locked and loaded into the RaceSpot TV booth. And we'll pull to the conclusion here of Dirt Night. Great running here on the Red Bull GRC, World of Outlaws, both at Volusia and Knoxville. So, grand old time, Randy. I gotta say, Knoxville, I think I like this place.
Yeah, Knoxville was a good one. It was a good show. A lot of exciting racing. I hope to see, well, I know we will see more of it in the future, both in the late models and these sprint cars. But man, oh man, what a show that was tonight.
Yeah, and either way, we'll take a quick minute to get everything sorted out and get the drivers in order, get them here, and then we can take an interview of them. So we'll be right back here on RaceSpot TV and iRacingLive.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of...
And just like that, 2 features in a GRC final event, and we have concluded our second round of iRacingLive Dirt Night on RaceSpot TV, and we've got a here we've got Joel Berkeley, we've got Austin Semmelman. Let's get him in here for driver interviews. So for Joel Berkeley, let's get our race winner up in here after 11 minutes and 48 seconds of running. Joel Berkeley, he climbs out of the number 14 machine, and I'd probably go as far as to say that without heat racing, this chance might not have came. But Joel, after good running in your heat and good running in the feature, you are now a winner here on Racing Dirt Night. And well, take me through the race.
Yeah, the heat race I got a bit lucky there. Everyone got caught up on the start and just finished second there behind KJ, and yeah, just did what I needed to do in the feature and move forward and pulled a few lucky sliders, so did what I needed to do.
Yeah, absolutely. First time running here at Knoxville in a full feature with a full field, and I gotta say, it can get pretty racing circuit is. Just take me through racing at this this Knoxville Raceway circuit.
Yeah, on a track like that, it's really hard to pass come feature time because everyone's on the top and really even. Like, I think Nick had something for me at the end there, but unfortunately yellow come out and ruined his chances. But it's a really tough track to pass. You just got to throw a slider and, yeah, hopefully it sticks and, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, a couple of restarts had to get down here. It looks to me that pace track pulls off pretty quickly, and that allows the driver in control of the field to really put the throttle down when he wants. It's not like the other tracks where it takes a while for the driver of the pace track to get out of the way. Here at Knoxville, you've got a lot of leeway to really put that throttle down, and of course you took the green at that final stretch there. But either way, just take me through these restarts. Bowling into corner number 1, I can only imagine how white knuckle that has to be.
I was that scared on the restarts. It was ridiculous. It's good you got that much control here. Like places like Volusia where the late models were not, you don't have much control at. But somewhere like here, you actually get a fair bit of control on the restarts. But going into turn 1, you just don't know what people are going to do. They just slide you. It could be a dirty one, it could be a good one. But thankfully, everyone raced cleaned up front, and yeah, it was a good race.
Yeah, a very good race indeed. But either way, it's a victory for not only another Australian racer, but also for the TTL guys. And, well, anyone you'd like to give a shout-out to before we let you go?
Yeah, it's massive credit to the team. Finally being able to make one of these broadcasts. The ones haven't been able to during the week because of work commitments and so, but yeah, it's massive thanks to the boys at TTL Esports, Ash Media, Speedway footage, down to graphics, Hyper Simulator, SimSpec, and everyone else that helps out, all the teammates.
Yeah, absolutely. Next week we're going to be going to Lanier under the lights as well, so looking forward to that, and hopefully we will see you there.
Hopefully you will.
So that's Joel Berkeley, driver, the number 14 sprint car, which means, Randy, you know he had to work for it because that number 14, of course, numbers are assigned based on iRating. And I got to say, this heat racing thing, it's working out. We're getting a lot of good drivers up in here.
Well, the heat racing has nothing to do with it, but Cam's apparently an elitist who thinks iRating corresponds with skill level. But no, Joel put on one heck of a show, beat a lot of big names tonight, and not only him, but Webster as well. Car number 15, driver we saw dominate most of the night. That number 15 machine was hooked up too.
Oh, you know what I mean. There would have been like a 13-car split, and he wouldn't have had the opportunity to come in here. But either way, let's take a look at Austin Selman. We don't have to worry about him getting in here. Number 2 machine, he's climbing out of the car. Well, he already did, but 8th position, he started. 2nd position, he finished. Austin Selman, he is standing by with Randy Chenowth.
Yeah, I'm stood by with Austin. Austin, we had a lot of new names we're not used to seeing in these sprint car races. Joel's not someone we've seen before. Webster, a handful of guys we've not seen really at all, came out and run really, really strong tonight. Were they a lot of names you recognize from other places, or a bunch of new names for you as well?
No, these are, I mean, it just shows how hard it is to win. I mean, all these guys are good. I've raced with Nelson and everything. I was racing a truck race with him a couple weeks ago. So Nelson's fast. Joel's really fast always. So just guys that, you know, getting the opportunity in here, and they're doing well.
Now, first time we saw Knoxville here tonight, I talked to Howard a little bit at the end of the late model race, but I'm curious for you, what's your reaction here first time out at Knoxville in the wing sprint car? You like it? What track would you compare it to? You know, what's your feedback?
The great thing about Knoxville, even in real life, is it's really not comparable to any other track. It's what I've seen and learned. But I just wish it was a little bit easier to pass on here. In real life, you know, there's more movement. I know I rode behind a few guys, and you know, in the last couple of weeks here, it's really hard to complete a pass cleanly. So, but other than that, it's pretty fun. We saw that group of cars in front of me. I was just waiting for them all to crash, but it was a good race, and hopefully everybody enjoyed it.
Next week, we're going to Lanier, and then we're, of course, expecting Lime and Land to come out at some point across the along the line this season. Lanier, up until that point, is the shortest track we have. How do you have to change the mindset? What do you have to change in the setup even from an Eldora or a Knoxville, 2 big, long, half-mile wide speedways, to a place like Lanier? Lanier is only a 3/8 mile, and Lime and Land, when we get it, will be a quarter-miler. So what do you have to change mentality-wise for the shorter circuits?
Mentality-wise, you have to just be ready to you know, react quicker, I guess you could say, and just be ready quicker, because things happen so much faster at a shorter track. As far, you know, as towards like Knoxville, you kind of have time to process things before they happen. So that's one thing, and a couple little things in the setup, but it's a different mentality definitely, and looking forward to it.
Thanks for joining us, Austin. Congratulations on somehow getting a good finish. I thought you were going to have another mediocre dirt race after the late model race, but somehow you scrounged your way up to P2. Before we let you go, any shout-outs? Who would you like to thank in that number 2 machine?
Oh, yeah, Dirt Division for being on the car, RacingIn.com, Team VLR, everybody that's on the car, Matt Hill for doing my paint schemes, of course, and it was definitely a rough night. Had some connection issues in the late model, so that sent me way in the back, and tonight I'm a terrible qualifier at Knoxville apparently, so I have to learn how to do that, but I was fast at the end, so I had a lot of fun though. Thanks, guys.
No problem. Kim, back over to you.
Well, thank you for hopping in the booth with us. Appreciate it very much. And Randy, we had a great run in GRC under the sun of the Iowan sun. We came over to Knoxville to finish it out, and we had a great run at Volusia in the interim. Gotta say, those late models, they've been putting on a good show in that middle station, but my goodness, was this dancing razor here at Knoxville. And next week, it's Lanier.
Yeah, and you know, just like you said, talking to Austin, the shortest track of the tracks we have, it's a very tight circuit. The times we have seen it, things have gotten really, really physical in those sprint cars, and it's going to be a good one. And of course, we can't forget the other series, sprint car, like we said, going to Lanier, the World of Outlaw late model series next week, Cam. They're coming here, so we're going to see what the late models are like around Knoxville next week.
All right, that looks like that's going to be a grand old time as well. I've used grand old time probably at least 20 times tonight, so we'll come up with a new catchphrase in 1 week's time, but I will say, between here and there, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy whatever holiday you and your family might be celebrating, we're just celebrating Dirt Night here, as its arrival, I have to say, has been cemented. Another successful night here on the iRacing service and RaceSpot TV. I've been Cameron Walsh. That's been Randy Chenowth. That's been Hugo Louis. Thank you so very much for taking part, and of course, we appreciate it so very much. Merry Christmas, everybody, and we will see you all in 1 week's time for #Dirt Night. So long from Knoxville.